anidang a translation ya Sesotho, ya Xhosa, ya Tshivenda, Xitsonga, Setswana, aphakamise isandla. They will come to you and give you a device. There are hands here in the front, colleagues, if you can quickly assist us. Gore batho ba baholo ba kgone hore utlwa hantle a re bua le setjhaba. Lebitso la ka ke Vuyiswa Gentile, and I am the chairperson of the Standing Petitions Committee of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, and we are here today to receive your inputs on the current amendment bill of 2024 from a principal bill year 2002. Can we move fast, colleagues, because people are losing patience. Baphakamisa izandla and you are going to lose track of where they are. Motho a hlokang device e tla kgona ho bua ka puo ena kgonang ho ikutlwa a amise letsoho ba kgone ho tla ho yena. Umuntu odinga i-device ezokhona ukukhuluma nge-language azoyi-understand aphakamisa isandla baze kuye bakhone ukunika i-device. Ngiyacela ke ha re qeta ho di sebedisa program ya rona ifela le di kgutlise hobane dina le di-tracker jwale re batle ho matha re batle batho ka taba ya di-device. Ke nahana gore la nkutlwa hantle a ke re batswadi. So ke kopa re etse jwalo re phamise matsoho batho ba kgone ho tla ho rona ke a tseba re tla kgathala mara ke a kopa ke kopa re etse jwalo. As you are given these devices, I am going to give the members that kita mang le tsone ba kgone ho introduce ho lone. And I will start here from my right, and there are only members who are, because Councillor, you are acknowledged. I didn't realize Councillor Waluna Umonana. The Councillor will not introduce himself for now because la motiba kimo etapili walune. Re tla mo fa nako ha re welcome amonana gore a bue le rona ibe nako eo he I introduce ka yona. So I'm going to give the member on my right and then member on my left. Soon after that, we'll then be starting with our official program. Kapari me anyane ke bona ka re hona le gasinyana. Le tla kgona ho rutla. Okay.
Sanibonani mphakathi. Ninjani? Ngathi nikhathele nje. Sanibonani. Ninjani? Siyaphila, ngiyabona nikhomba isikhathi, siyaxolisa futhi nakulokho. Igama lami ngumuyiponi wakwaMhlongo, ngiyimember yale committee, ngiyimember ye provincial legislature, ngiyabonga.
Dumelang batho ba baholo. Le kae? Re teng. Nna ka lebitso ke Tshepo Seteka. Ki member ya committee ena. Ke a leboha.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu to the members that have introduced themselves. Of course, asikho lana sodwa sihamba ne support staff of the legislature and the support staff of the committee. Ngizacela ukuthi abantu abafuna uinteract ngimbona umbuli with i-process yokuthi kupetitionwa kanjani. Maybe as a session iqhubeka umbuli nje aphakamisa isandla ningahamba niyobuza kuyena ukuthi umuntu mayefuna ukufaka i-petition ngicela nje uphakamisa isandla mbuli bakhona ukuthi bakubona ukuthi ukuphi ukuthi kahle kahle lento ye-petition yini ulapha phandle etafuleni niza mane niphuma kancane kancane nikhona ukukhuluma naye. Sengishilo ngathi igama lami nginguvuyiswa ngokwa Gentile and I am the chairperson of this committee. I'm a bit distracted by the issues of ukuhambiswa kwama handsets. Before we start with our official program, I want to invoke the rules of the legislature. Rule number 56, sub rule 1 and 2. in declaring that this hall, Surman Hall of Hammanskraal, is a precinct of the legislature, and that we are then expected to uphold the rules of the House. In our engagements, we are supposed to also uphold the rules of the House. We don't clap our hands. Harishautani, haubatla ubua. You will raise your hands and you will be noted, and then we'll then come to you. So I now declare the session of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, the public hearing of the amendment bill of the petitions officially opened. We are today in Tshwane. We have crisscrossed the entire province. Riqadileko city of Johannesburg. We moved to Sidibeng. We went to Ekurhuleni. Last week we were in West Rand. Today we are in Tshwane and we are here to get your views on the current amendment bill, Yadi petition. We are doing this process to strengthen process ya petition gore batho ba rone ba kgona contribute in terms of the building of this particular law. Litla hopola back in the day, it was difficult for people to petition. They needed a number of signatures for them to petition, but we have in this new democracy a process where even if you are just one person who are gonna petition, but we are doing this process as well to ensure that we are able to hold together executive accountable, respond. Because what you do, you submit a petition to ourselves as the committee, and now we mediate between yourself and the executive. So respond such that you then have more confidence in the committee in relation to the petitions that are submitted. So before your hands, you've got a gazette that was gazetted in April this year. Enaling hlaloso kaofela ya gore hantle re lika ho thusa molao ona o re thuse jwang. But also importantly is that all these documents before yourselves are written in a language that you understand. So if we have it in English and o ibatle ka sekgowa, o tla emisa fela your hands and you indicate that you've got you wanted the one that is written in a language that you understand. Niza khumbula ukuthi i-constitution yaleli lizwe lethu lesiyisebenzisayo manje, it came to pass in 1996, and soon after that the very first Petitions Act eyayenziwe lana eGoli yabakhona, and kwakuwona umhlahlandlela for amanye ama-provinces ukuthi babe nayo. And in 2002 it was amended, and now we're amending it again to ensure that you are able to petition in a way that is able to respond to your issues. So Silana today to get your inputs such that you are able to say, we know ki molao wa rona, we contributed to the making of molao ona, and re batla ho position to be an act that we are able to use. So that is why we are here today. So we're going to request that you make very much of this session. You are able to contribute according to what we are proposing, because I finally document. It's not a final document. Contribute and input. Today is the last day for those that want to also submit a written submission in terms of what they think must be put into this particular amendment bill. So we're going to encourage you ukuthi nikhone usebenzisa lo mthetho. I am not going to be long because sengikhulume kakhulu singekaamkelwa na uncouncil. I will then give the councillor to welcome us such that we can be comfortable, and we start with our job that we are here for. So councillor, you are acknowledged. I want to acknowledge the leadership of the municipality that is here as well, the Section 79 chair who is here, and all other councillors from around this ward who are here. You are welcomed. I know good councillor manangithi ba welcome ngoba wena omela asi welcome, but we do acknowledge you and we thank you so much for coming through. So councillor, if you can then welcome us. Thank you so much.
Ke a leboha chairperson. Ba haetso le kae? Awa le rona re teng. Le itumetse. ne heli tumetse ra leboha. Yeah. Bahaitso, kere ke le amohele ba tswang kgole le haufi. Ke nahana hore batho ba le leng mo, ha le batho ba Hammanskraal fela akere. Ke sure ho na le batho ba bo Winterveld, batho ba bo Atteridgeville, batho ba bo Mamelodi, Inner City, all over Tshwane akere bahaitso. Le amohetswe mo Hammanskraal ka mo Ward 8 dimpya di bofilwe akere. Chairperson ka ha ka mkho na tlhalosa ne ke re le lona chairperson ke le amohele and your team honorable Ezra Letswalo ke leadership re le dile bo botle ka mo hare ha youth league le amohetswe dimpya di bofile. Chairperson ke no re hanyane nyana mo Hammanskraal re na le problem especially ka tsona di petition tse le rile pila la tla kokwano. Re na le probleme ke re ke mention tse pedi tse tharo is just that akena di number tsa tsona di petition tseo, but re na le clinic e leng hore e ko Dilopie. Clinic ya ko Dilopie is been 5 years now. Ho sa etsahale selo sele ho appointiwa contractor a re itse re mabaka hore a tsamaye ke eng. Re na le clinic hape ke bone ho na le chairperson wa di clinic committee. Okay, chairperson. Ino ba ke lebetse lebitso la hae. Ke ntato e leng hore re tsamaile di process nyana tse ntshi ka issue ya di clinic. Health ba haitso e botlhokwa for rona. One other petition, chairperson, ke hore kos company ne hona le a mobile clinic, then that mobile clinic se le o tsamaile. Azanka wa boa, we try to review the official, but we don't know who ke mang wa tshwanetseng a re thuse. So in terms ka mo lefapheng la health ke tsona tse tharo tse leng hore re na le tsona. But bahaitso in short hore re be le this committee ya di petition ke hore bo botle ba re batla service delivery. Ditsela tsa rona tshwantse be tse di tsamayang e nne ditsela tse leng hore a dina di pothole. Di high mast light tsa rena di tshwanetse di tshume. If re na le di transformer tshwanetse di service batho ba borona. Re scanna every time barne we are experiencing load reduction. Di street light tsa rona di tshwanetse di tshume. Bo batho ba borona ba ile hore bana le bana ba banyane. Bana tshwanetse ba kry di tšhelete tsa di grant. Bo ko tshwanetse ba kry di tšhelete tsa di grant. So dilo tse tsotlhe tse if a di irahale ka mo di petitioning ke ka mo re tshabelang ka mo teng re re hape rena he re tla mo hurile a ho etsahala, but otherwise bahaitso ke a le leboha ke re le amohetse. Thank you, chairperson.
No, thank you so much, Councillor. I think part of what we really need to clarify, this is not me defending, is that this process esiyenzayo, Councillor, will clarify ukuthi i-petition uyithumela kuphi and what kind of petition. For example, on street lights, it's a responsibility of the municipality, and I'm glad the chairperson of Section 79 is here. But also you are advantageous, and I'm glad you are indicating you would have led with Chairperson Ezra at some point. Chairperson Ezra is now the chairperson of the portfolio on health, and these issues that are raised here, he must then be able to attend to them right away. So, but do write a petition to the provincial legislature because it is a provincial issue, and we have not received such a petition before. We have never interacted with it, but if we have interacted with it, the team outside should be able to track and check if indeed there would have been such a petition and what are the issues. But imunat kiona bahlala ngithi niyambona ngowala neTshwane uchairperson we healthy portfolio ake moshapi halifedi clinic akir. So inhle kamnandi ngoba niyazana. So thank you so much, Councillor, for welcoming us here. But I think most importantly, we want to use the petitioning system to ensure that we improve policies of our people in this province, but also to improve the living conditions, Councillor, true services that must be brought to our people. It can't be that year in and year out, executive promises people and then we are unable to hold them accountable. That is why we're here. And part of your contributions in strengthening Mulao Onana would assist us to hold executive accountable. Who banali confusion sometimes of a legislature, executive kinto one. Ndate Premier Panyaza Lisufi, leader and executive, leader MECs, and ourselves as members of provincial legislature, we hold them accountable. So there is that relationship. But what is important to our advocates, when they have promised, we must come and say, how far are you? Because so I think it's important that we must indicate that. We're going to move first to the reason why you are here. If you have all the documents with yourself, we are now getting to the why you are here. We'll be giving Advocate Ndade Kiaubaka to take us through the proposed amendment bill of 2004. What are changes? What are we proposing? And then from there, we'll then move to your inputs. And if you have any clarity-seeking questions, can I just urge that when we get to that session of questions and answers, that we deal with the bill. On service delivery issues, particularly if there are petitions, you had petitioned or you want to know how to petition, the team outside will be able to assist you with that. Because ourselves as the legislature were not executive, and Councillor Kaniti Aritibi Nabali promises the clinic, and they have not built it to this time. But because the chairperson is here, we'll then be making a follow-up, but we want to then indicate that we must write a formal petition, and if it was written, let's make a follow-up on it. So I'll be handing over to Ndate Kiaubaka to take us through the amendment bill of 2024 of the petitions, and then from there, we're going to give you an opportunity then to interact with the presentation. Enkos.
Thank you very much, Chair. Dumela. Lina laka ke Kiaubaka Senkokile. Yaka chairperson a sa tswa o tlhalosa se se re tlisitseng mo gompieno ke molao ka kangwa o leng gore ke Gauteng Petitions Amendment Bill of 2024. Molao ka kangwa, we call it a proposal, as the chairperson have just mentioned. And ka Setswana sa rona re re ke tsitsinyo.
Ki bona matso. Okay. So they request that you bring the mic close.
Okay, let me start. Lina laka ki Kiaubaka Senkokile. Ki mo gompieno le the honorable members ba rona ba tlotlegi ba rona go tla go le tlhalosetsa ka molao ka kangwa o eleng gore one ke Gauteng Petitions Amendment Bill of 2024. Ene ke tsa gore rotlhe re tshwere molao ka kangwa o mo matsogong a rona, so re ka kgona go followa a ntse ke dira presentation. Molao ka kangwa re o bitsa a proposal. Yaka ke sa tswa go tlhalosa ka Setswana sa rona re o bitsa tsitsinyo. Why re o bitsa tsitsinyo? Re o bitsa tsitsinyo or proposal because it's not yet an act. It's not something that we can implement. It's not something that we can enforce. So re tlile mo gompieno gape re patelediwa yaka lo itse molaotheo wa rona o re molao mongwe le mongwe tsitsinyo nngwe le nngwe e go tliwang ka yone re tlamile re akaretse batho ba rona gore ba kgone go nna le ditsitsinyo mo se tlisiwang go bone. Molao ka kangwa o tlo go re thusa thata especially how batla go tlisa tletlebo. I'm saying tletlebo because go ya ka molao wa rona o leng gore ra o dirisa gone yaanong yana go tlisa ditletlebo tse leng gore ke yone petitions. In terms of our current Act 5 of 2002, Section 1, a petition is defined as a submission, a complaint, or a request. Meaning, if o batla go tlisa yone petition ewa or tletlebo ewa, go na le ditsela tse leng gore o tshwanetse o di latele go ya ka our current Act 5 of 2002 e leng gore molao kakangwa o re mo kaone gompieno wa o amenda, meaning gore re tlisa diphetogo tse di itseng. Now, before I start with the presentation, ke tlile go dira presentation ka English, and I believe that re na le dilo tse leng gore di interpreters di kgona go thusa gore le kgone go followa. So I will be presenting in English, and I hope you'll be able to follow. I will try to just go slow so that you are able to follow what I'm trying to bring to you. Now, before I can start, I'll first like to just give you a brief background. And if you can listen, by the time I start with the presentation, then you will be able to follow and to make inputs after the presentation. Now, as I've indicated, the Petitions Amendment Bill of 2024. What is the purpose of this bill or this proposal? The purpose of this proposal or this bill is to amend the current act. The current act meaning the act that we use now to bring or to process your petitions, which is Act 5 of 2002. It goes further, this bill, under its purpose. It further seeks to define, to insert certain definitions which are not found in our current act. It further seeks to give effect to Section 17 of the Constitution, which empowers petitioners to petition. It goes further, this bill. It provides for norms and standards for municipalities. It goes further to give effect to public participation. It goes further to give effect to our Constitution and our standing rules. Because all petitions are governed by Act number 5 of 2002, are governed by our Constitution, and are governed by our standing rules. And these are the documents that I've just mentioned to, or made reference to now. Now, this whole process is regulated and is legal. It goes further to align petitions policies of municipalities with the amendment bill. So why am I saying that? And why is it important for this amendment bill to align municipal policy petitions with this amendment bill? It's important because municipalities, they also process or they also deal with the petitions. It's important because in terms of Section 40 of the Constitution, it says the 3 spheres of government are independent. And out of these 3 spheres of government, no one of these three spheres of government must interfere with the functions of the other sphere of government. Now, the Constitution does so by encouraging a friendly relationship. So now, by bringing this proposal, is to extend our hand as the legislature to municipalities and say, let's work together. But in working together, we are not taking over what you are doing. We are doing that in line with Section 40 of the Constitution to say, let there be a friendly relationship in whatever you do in your engagement, but make sure that we don't encroach in the functions of other spheres of government. So you can see, whatever we do, we try to be in line with the Constitution. We try to do everything that is legal. Now, it doesn't end there. I'm giving you the background. This bill, or this proposal, it goes further to give more effect to Section 17 of the Constitution to petitioners by encouraging the people of Gauteng to petition. So the Constitution is encouraging you to petition. If you are not happy about anything that affects you on a daily basis, it says, Section 17, bring a petition. I think we understand. So I just thought that I should just give you that background. And now, this proposal or this amendment bill is divided in different sections. What I've just been trying to explain now, it's under your long title. So when you pick up any piece of legislation or bill, you will see there's a long title. It will have the objective of the bill or of the act. Now, that is the beginning. You can call it the introduction. So once you have read the introduction or the long title of the bill of any piece of legislation, you should be able to know what the bill is all about. There should be no confusion. We also have a section called your short title, which is the name of the bill or the name of the act. Now, if you can look at your documents there, which is the amendment bill, you'll see at the back, the last page is what is called your short title. The short title tells you what is the name of that bill. And it tells you, it says that it's the Gauteng Petitions Amendment Bill of 2024. Why 2024? Because it was initiated or it started in 2024. It doesn't mean that the year will remain as 2024. Hence, it's affected as well in these amendments. Now, I haven't started with the presentation. Your current Act 5 of 2002, it's got 19 sections. Now, out of those 19 sections, we are only amending 9 sections, meaning that only 9 sections are affected. So this is what we are going to concentrate on today. We are only going to concentrate on 9 sections. Those sections that I'm not going to touch on, it means they are not affected. And once we have consolidated everything, we have considered your comments, and it's taken to the legislature, to the House for consideration, and after consideration for adoption to become an act, then those comments will form part of the entire act now. Now we will have one act. Now I'm going to start with the presentation, and Chair, with your permission, May I request that I present while sitting down, please? Thank you very much. You can see there under your introduction, this process is, or let me put it this way, this bill, the Gauteng Petitions Amendment Bill of 2024, is drafted in line with Section 119 and 196 up 2 of our standing rules. Yeah. Where do I go? Should have left it the way it was.
No, but for not even.
Oh. So here.
Oh, you can do.
Yes, yes. Okay. No, thanks, and sorry about that. I already touched on the background and the introduction. I was saying that this amendment bill is drafted in line with Section 119 of the Constitution and 196 up 2 of our standing rules. It's also guided or regulated by your Section 40, Section 115, Section 116 of our Constitution and Section 17 of our Constitution. Why am I saying that? Section 115, it gives the committee a power to receive or right to receive your petitions. And Section 17 of our Constitution, it gives you a right to petition. So you petition in terms of Section 17 of the Constitution, and then the committee receives your petition in terms of 115 of the Constitution. Now, as I've indicated, we are only going to focus on 9 sections, which is clauses. I will refer to them in my presentation. It appears as clauses, but in your document, I believe it appears as sections. So I'll be using sections so that I try and avoid confusions. So I'll first take you through those 9 sections just to explain to you what is all about those sections. So that when we now deal with the main clauses, then amendments, then at least you understand. So Section 1, which is Clause 1, it deals with your definitions. Clause 2, which is the clause that deals with the purpose, meaning what the bills intend to achieve. It's your Clause 2 or Section 2. You can see there it gives effect to your right to petition, which is Section 17. It further gives it gives effect to the Constitution and our standing rules. It further promotes public participation, further encourages the business of the legislature to be conducted in an open and transparent manner. Clause 3, which is your Section 3, it deals with your interpretation. And here we are told that in interpreting any act or this bill, we need to look at other factors. We need to contextualize it. By contextualizing, we mean don't focus on only one factor in interpreting it, but also consider other laws, also consider other factors as well. Clause 4 or Section 4, it deals with the submission of the petition. This one deals with when you submit a petition. Clause 5, which is your Section 5, it deals with the exhausting of the internal remedy. This is a total new section. It's not in our current act. 5 of 2002. So this is a new section. It encourages the petitioners to first exhaust internal remedies. What do we mean by exhausting internal remedies? By exhausting internal remedies, we simply mean that if you've got a problem, maybe with issues that has to do with health, or you can find help, maybe at the Department of Health, and you have submitted your petitions at the Department of Health, first try to get help at the Department of Health, but it does not mean that the legislature is saying you cannot come to them, or you cannot bring a petition to the legislature. You can. But now it encourages people to first find help before coming to the legislature. Because you will find a situation whereby the petitioner have submitted a petition at the Department of Health or Department of Roads, but before they could finalize that petition, you then come to the legislature. So now you've got two processes that runs at the same time. Now, the legislature will now be summoning or calling the department to come and respond. And then when they come and respond, and then they'll say, no, but we are still busy processing this petition, we are not yet done. Then it becomes a challenge. Clause 6, which is your section 6, it deals with the process that needs to be taken by the committee when they process your petitions. It talks about a report, a detailed report that must be prepared and be submitted, and must, in that wide detail, it must provide the steps taken in addressing your complaint or your petition. Remember I said, in our act, a petition is defined as a complaint, as a submission, and as a request. So I'm just repeating that so that you are not surprised to see me referring to it here in my presentation as a complaint. It's defined as such. Your clause 12, don't be surprised why I'm jumping clause 11, 10, or section 11 and 12 or 10, and now I go straight to 12. Remember I said our current act have got 19 clauses, but only 9 clauses are affected, and the ones that we are not going to talk about here, it means they are not affected. So it means your clause 9 and 10 and 8 and 7 are not affected. So that's why I'm jumping now to clause 12. So this clause was amended to provide for reporting by the committee. So this clause does nothing but it tries to emphasize the issue of being responsive when you deal with a petition. It also brings in the issue of, there's not that much change, but it brings in the issue of where in the current act there's a reference as to when maybe the petition, the period it must take for it to be finalized. It talks about 4 weeks. And then in this proposal we are talking about 30 working days. So here we are trying to make sure that there is no confusion. Because when you say 4 weeks, what are you referring to? It might create confusion. So, but when you say 30 working days, you know, when you say 30 working days, what are we referring to? So that is the new change under clause 12. Now, under clause 13 or section 13, it deals with the procedure that must be followed when you deal with your oral evidence. You know, why oral evidence? Why are we talking about oral evidence here? Oral evidence because when the legislature receives a petition and they go out for public hearing and they invite the public and the affected institution to come and respond, they might need witnesses. And those witnesses, they might be required to give evidence. And that evidence might be oral. So this clause, it tries to cover that, to indicate as to what kind of evidence is needed when you deal with oral evidence. And your clause 19 or section 19, remember when I gave a summary or a background of the proposal or the amendment bill, I spoke about the short title which appears just at the back, the last page there. The short title there which provides as to when that bill will commence or when it will become an act. It is also affected, that short title. I'm not going to touch on that. I did touch on that. It's about the background when I started. Remember, I took you through when I was summarizing the bill. So I'm not going to touch on that, which deals with the purpose of the act or what it seeks to achieve. It is just the preamble as well. I touched earlier on, I spoke about section 17, which is your right to petition. I spoke about section 115, talks about the receiver of the petition, and your section 116. You know, your section 116, it tries to close the gap in our constitution. Our constitution does not provide a procedure of dealing with your petition or processing your petition. But under 116, it gives all 9 provinces or legislatures to come up with their standing rules. This in order to guide how to go about in their internal processes. So this standing rules is in terms of 116 of the Constitution. So it's covered because even as to how you must go about or process the petition, you will find it in our standing rules, which is regulated by your 116, section 116 of our Constitution. So you can see, as I've indicated, that everything that we do, we try to align it to the Constitution. There is also mention of your section 40, which talks about the 3 spheres of government which are independent, and it emphasizes the issue of a friendly relationship amongst those 3 spheres of government. Why that section 40? Section 40, I did indicate that municipalities, they also deal with the petitions. So there will be a time whereby the legislature will be extending their hand to the municipalities and find out as to what is happening with regard to the petition. Now, that should not be seen as interference as provided by your section 40. Because section 40 allows these 3 spheres of government, even though they are independent, to work together, but not to encroach in their others' functions. Now, I'm going to deal with the amendments or the suggestions or the proposals that we are bringing here today. Now, you will see as I present that there is a square bracket and there is a solid line. Now, that square brackets indicate a deletion, or it shows that we are removing something from the principal act. The principal act is the current act that this bill seeks to amend. So when you see the square bracket, it means this bill is removing or is deleting what is now appearing currently in your principal act, which is your Act 5 of 2002. If you see the underline, solid underline, it means that we are now inserting. It means now we are bringing new changes in the principal act or in the current Act 5 of 2002. Now, remember when I started, when I was giving the background, I said, one of the purposes of this bill is to bring certain definitions and to amend the principal act. Now you can see the square brackets I just spoke about now. The Act number 108 of 1996 is in that square brackets. What it means is that we are now removing that from our current act, which appears under our definitions. Under our definitions in our current act now, the definition of the Constitution reads as follows. The Constitution means the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, Act 108 of 1996. Now we are saying it's wrong to say that. Now we are saying that the definition must read as follows. The Constitution means the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa of 1996. Then it ends there. Now, you see the definition of the secretary is also affected there. You see there's a square brackets. In the current Act number 5 of 2002, it reads as follows. The secretary means the person appointed in terms of section 12 sub 1A of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature Services Act of 1996. But now, we are saying we must add and delete that and say the secretary means the accounting officer of the legislature and includes any person acting in that position. So you can see in the current act, the definition excludes the person who's acting in that position. If there is an acting secretary, then it means it's excluded that person. But now, the new proposal we are saying, let's also add whoever is acting in that position. The definition of witness is affected there. You see there's a solid line, meaning that we are now inserting, we are bringing something new. Subpoena there also, the definition we are inserting. Under the definition of authority, we are also inserting there. Why is that one of authority important? Remember, in my background, when I was giving a summary when I started, I said, we recognize the fact that municipalities, they also deal with petitions. We recognize the fact that in terms of Section 40, they are independent. We recognize the fact that we must not interfere with their functions. But because Section 40 also encourages the friendly relations, it does not mean that we cannot work together. But as long as we don't encroach unfairly so in their functions, we can work together, we can advise. Now, that's why in this definition, because under the purpose of this bill, it tries to align their petition policy with this bill as well. Now, we are saying, while doing that, let's also make reference to them by bringing them in under the definitions of authority. Let's bring in the municipal council then, because in terms of our current act, it does not talk to that. Under the object of the bill, as I've indicated, I did touch on it, your section 17, which gives you right to petitions, it gives effect to the Constitution, the spirit of the Constitution. It further, I spoke about that it gives effect to this bill, it gives effect to public participation. The insertion of your interpretation clause, which is a new clause, which I touched on earlier on. Here, as you can see, it's underlined. And it says, any person applying this act, why now here are we not saying bill and we say act? We are saying act because that is how we draft. When we draft, we don't draft for now, we draft for the future. We are aware of the fact that this bill, once is supported by yourself and we have considered your comments, it will become an act. Now, when you draft, In terms of the drafting style, you draft for the future. You look forward. Hence, we are now referring to it as an act. You can even see at your long title there, the last page, it talks about the act and not the bill. So it says, when you interpret or you try to understand or to explain this bill or act to somebody else, or you try to apply it or to implement it, in applying it, you must interpret its provision so as to give effect to Section 17. And what is Section 17 saying? Section 17 says that you must give effect to your right to petition. So, remember in my explanation I said, don't interpret it in a narrow manner, interpret it in a broader manner. Consider other factors. Consider other piece of legislation. Now here you can see, under this clause, it says, consider Section 17, which is your constitution as well. Remember I said, consider other piece of legislation. Consider other factors as well in trying to interpret it. Your Section 3 of your current act, which deals with your general principles. You see there's a square brackets there. And then there as well, I did explain why. There's an underline there under Section 3 sub 3(1) there. Your public there is a new insertion because it's underlined. We are removing your participation by the citizens of the province there, is in brackets. We are now inserting considering the petition. There's also square brackets there, which means deletion. We are deleting the government of the province. There you can see there under the speaker must promote and facilitate a fair and equitable process of considering a petition submitted to the legislature in terms of this act. It's underlined. It means it's an insertion. Maximum is deleted. And your sub 3 of Section 3 there is very important. Sorry, why am I saying it's very important? I'm saying it's very important because it emphasizes the issue of language. And it says, a petitioner may submit a petition in any of the official languages of the Republic of South Africa. Under Section 4 there, you can see the word mass there is deleted there. Section 5, under Section 5, sub 4, it deals with the exhausting of internal remedies. As I've indicated, it's a new clause, it's coming in. We don't have it in our current act. It says, if you have a problem with any institution and you can get help, first go and try and get help before coming to the legislature. But it's not saying that you mustn't come to the legislature. You can still come after you have exhausted the internal remedy, after you have tried to get help. Under your Section 6 there of Act 5 for 2002, it's also amended. You see, we are talking about aligning bringing the municipal petitions policy in line with our bill there. Hence, we are now deleting the word municipal and we are saying speaker of a council. I spoke about your 4 weeks and I said we are deleting 4 weeks and now we are inserting 30 working days. As you can see, it's underlined and the 4 weeks is with the square brackets. Now, let me explain without just rushing and not explaining what is this 4 weeks and 30 days all about. The 30 days or the 4 weeks as it appears in our current act, it's about the responsiveness. How long? It says at least. If you can finish the processing of the petition before 4 weeks, or as it appears now, but before 30 working days after this now becomes an act, it's still okay. Don't wait. So once you have received a petition, you cannot sit with the petition forever and frustrate a petitioner, not knowing what is happening. You must respond within 30 days, but you can even respond before 30 days. Because I understand some situations that does not allow for 30 days. There might be some urgent matters. But if you can resolve that issue or that petition within 30 days, do so. But don't go beyond that. And if you go beyond that, because of other reasons, don't just sit and keep quiet. That is what sub F there is saying. Request for an extension and give reasons why you are not able to comply with the act. Why are you not able to finish within 30 working days as provided? Why are you taking longer? And now request for an extension and explain why, and give a date, a definite date as to when will you be able to finish. Don't just say, I request for an extension and then you keep quiet. Then it's not clear as to when you intend then finalizing that process. Now, this bill or proposal is also trying to emphasize the issue of responsiveness, like I've just said, that, and reporting, giving a report back. It requires any institution dealing with a petition to say, including the committee, this committee of petition to say, once you deal with a petition, remember, I did touch on it earlier on, but not in detail. You are expected to provide a report after you have finalized that process, giving details as the steps taken in dealing with that petition. It goes further to say, any institution, including the legislature or the committee of petitions, standing committee on petitions, must report quarterly and annually as to how the steps taken and how they process all the petitions they've received. So it deals with giving a report back. Now, under section 12B, this proposal, remember, once you bring a proposal or a bill, it means there is a problem that you are trying to address. Now, from time to time when the committee goes on public hearings and they invite the affected institutions to come and respond during the hearings. This bill says now, they are not going to entertain any response from a junior official. Why? It's not to undermine anybody, but because there's always a problem with junior officials, because, for an example, an institution or a department will be sending somebody who cannot take responsibility, somebody who cannot respond. So what is the use of going there and you still have to go back and get a mandate from your seniors? It's a waste of time, because the petitioner needs a response. It needs the issue to be resolved. Now we are still going back and forth. Now this bill says, no. We are not going to entertain that anymore. We want people who can take responsibility. We want people who can respond, who can account. So when you come to our hearings, you must come and respond and tell us how did you go about in trying to resolve this, or how do you intend resolving this? And then we move then from there. Under your clause 14 or section 14, it just recognizes your Municipal System Act. Remember I said that we are trying to align the processes of municipalities with this bill. Now, while doing that, we also need to recognize the fact that there is some piece of legislation that governs or that regulates the processes of municipalities. For an example, which is your Municipal System Act. So, hence we are making reference to that. Now, as you can see there's a square bracket. We are removing your schedule there, we're replacing it. That's why there's an underline with this act. Under clause 19 or section 19, that's where now we deal with that clause or that section, which you always find it at the end, the last page, which says that this act is called the Gauteng Petitions Amendment Act of 2024. This is what is going to appear once it's deliberated on. We have considered your comments and it's been passed by the legislature to become an act. That brings us to the end of our presentation, and thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much. We will then be Member Sitika. Thank you so much, Advocate, for that presentation. I want to acknowledge, because when we were in Ekurhuleni, we had a challenge of translating to our people, and we had committed that this is about travelers. Abangifuna ubheka abantu base Ekurhuleni bakhona lana. Bakhona abantu base Ekurhuleni. Yeah, uyabona ukuthi isithembiso sami ngisigcinile, beningangithembi. And I want to acknowledge you and thank you for coming in. Ngifuna uku-acknowledge amakhosi and all civil society organizations that are here, stakeholders of the legislature who are here. Nabo bonke abanye engingabalanga, the whip of council, and all other stakeholders that are here. Lo mthetho akusumthetho wethu sodwa singabantu base Gauteng Provincial Legislature. There will be an expectation ukuthi municipalities must align and develop their own policies such that we are able to all respond to petitions that are brought by our citizens in all corners of Gauteng. So we are glad when we see umasipala lana ngoba a lot of service delivery issues zezikamasipala, and umasipala must be able then to build a capacity to respond to issues. We are going to go to questions and answer sessions. Umuntu one question, umuntu ofuna uku-inputa, even if uyabona bafaka ngithi kwabanye they were teachers. Umuntu yakhona ukuthi no, this is not supposed to be was, here is supposed to be is. So anyone wants to input and also advise us. And I'm going to hand over that session to Member Sitika to conduct it for us. I want to plead with you, Bahlali, ukuthi sibuze imibuzo that is relevant to the presentation and what you have. Apunga understand khona, because angithi lo mthetho akumelanga udlule uphaswe, because masudlula lana sahambe siyopresenta in the house, and the house must then be able, because it says consolidate onke ama imports from different regions, must then be able to say we're going to pass this into law or we will not pass it to law. But if it is passed to law, kumela nonke nikhona uku-owner. So I want to encourage you ukuthi contributani such that this becomes umthetho owakhiwe inina, and an act that will then be able to respond to all your needs as petitioners in the province. So, Member Sitika, just let's stick to questions around the presentation. I know there are service delivery issues that are frustrating our people. There's an issue of water where there's issues around, but because we are here for this process, and I know there's been a lot of interventions in the area, asifuna ukuthi sibe nama-parallel processes esiwenzayo, especially because as the legislature we don't deal with service delivery, but umuntu onenkinga akabhali petition sikhona ukubalanda labantu sibabuza ukuthi abantu bethu nibahlalisa kanjani in these kind of conditions. So, Member Sitika.
Thank you, Chair. All right, batho ba baholo, ke kopa re sebedisaneng ne. Re tlo fanang fela ka 2 minutes mothai one. Ho bue ka speed fela o hlalose ntho ha. And re tlo nka round A1 ya di question. So how ko note ke tlo kopa o tla ka pele le tse line so that re kgone ho qeta. Ke kopa ba batlang go botsa dipotso ba phamise matsoho. 1, 2, 3. Kopa le tla ka pele. 4, Papa. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ka wena mama. Re felletsa ke. 10. Okay, ra ikwala ko number 10 ga lebo. Nka lume emva kwe line uyabazi bazi line. Nyabonga. Number 1. Daddy. Ba felletsa batho ba batlang go botsa dipotso. A re sa tla gutla ona round number 2. Re na le round A1 fela. Le sho re le felletse. Ba phele. All right. Ga leboa. Re tla qala ka number 1. Oh, sharp.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Teenage Wamajammoho. So question ya ka ke hore re kopa all the foreigners ba ba sa tlang pila ka mo South Africa ba boele morao hore bana ba rona le baholo ba rona ba kgone ho fumana tšhono ya mosebetsi. All foreigners ba ba tlileng ka illegal landing ba boele morao, all provinces 9 pila se ke ra lwana le bone. Ene ya bobedi di mighty purpose center tsa rona ka mo region 2 di holo le library di clinic re kopa di be le di cleaniwe ene o bone monitoring system. Just because e ke lebella mo plekeng ya rona mo region o tswa go Stemvatere o fitla ko bofelong ba region 2 wa tsanikiwa he re botisa re o iralang ba re ha ona metsi re kopa metsi unsustainable bana ba rona ba kgone ho tshwara internet cafe di holo le di clinic di kulumakiwe ho be skono ene re kopa ba belege e bereke bana ba rona ba bereke ba ska bereka mebereko e minyane fela ya bo di 6 months di 12 months ba bereke mebereko me sustainable. Infrastructure ya rona di tsela dintlo di title deed formalization di bete se ka ra bua fela re bue re bereka nako ya o bolela e fitile ke nako ya hore re sebetse infrastructure le settlement. Thank you.
Dumela Mabotse. Greeting Chairperson. Now I'm going to talk to Amendment Bill. I'm going to talk to Section 6. Section 6. Recopala le Kenya mo Section 6. Add on Section 6. The petitioners must be informed continuously.
Hanyane fela. Askisi ho kenya kanong ke kopa lebitso la hao re kgonne ho le addressa ka mabitso a re responda.
Okay, lebitso la ka ke nna Daniel Koka. I'm from Ward 14 New Year Stress. Section 6. The petitioners must be informed continuously of the progress of the petition every 90 days. That's what we want to see. on section 6. Number 2, the petitioners must escalate the matter within 6 months after the petition has been adopted by the petitioners board. That's what you need to be added on section 6. On section 12, on the accountability, the community must prepare a final report to the petitioners that will include the processes that have been followed by the committee until the final resolution. That's what we need to be included. But Chairperson, I came here for you specifically. Yes it is. You're talking about accountability. This bill is talking about accountability. But you don't have access to your office. We only have access to the officials. But you don't have what you call this, emails to your phone numbers on the internet or anywhere. They don't even give us that information when you ask for it. There's a petition, MEC, that we have submitted to your office on the 8th of this, January 2023, of clinics. I want to give the petition number. Please take this petition number. It is PP128, sorry, PP128/05. It's for you, Chairperson. This one I'm not taking it there. This is for you, directly for you. It's PP128/05, /23/LO-HE. This was your office told us, they wrote a letter to us on the 27th of April last year to say the petition has been approved, the budget has been approved to build the clinic. The MEC has signed, the MEC has signed, and all of the officials, government officials have signed that all the what you call this, the people that are supposed to be, what you call them, what you don't know about, they've signed one to everybody that the budget is there. On the 7th of this month, we were told by the representative of the MEC's office, Honorable Nomantu Raluhoko, to say they don't have a budget. What is it that they were signing for if they don't have a budget? Because they said the clinic is going to start on the 31st. They said it's going to start on the 31st of April from your office. Now, they are saying they will bring the mobile clinic because they don't have a budget. Where is the budget that they signed for? Can you please investigate? Because you are the one who said to us, your office said to us, you're going to build the clinics for us from the 31st. Now it's October, nothing's happening. The only response we get from you, from the office of the MEC, is there's no budget. Already you have spent 2.8 million for preparation of this clinic. Already you have spent 5 million, we have lost 7 million. The next thing will tell us there's no money. But where is this money going to? We need to know, we need our clinic. I thank you.
Siseparlamente asiziqhwabi izandla sizaba nayo ichance lapho sikhulumayo kahle siqhwabe, but because of the rules and we are on record here, we uphold the rules of the house. Even if we are excited and you are covered by a point of a particular person, we don't clap hands. So can we then try and avoid, even when we are covered in what would have been raised, that we don't cheerlead and clap hands? Thank you so much.
Hello, sir. Maluleke France Jenje. It's a much company. A block B. Kuna A, kuna B. Nitwe kubulawurwa clinic ya mobile. And an alash company sha block B. Kuna ribala le rakufana akwa clinic. Naso swani ya yimili clinic akiwi. And kusukela 92 ikari tshama laya. Aina sorichi. Aina RDP se kurile ritanwani aina nchumu se maandla ku tiva ku ri ku endleka njhani loko swi fika kona kwalano hi karhi ya vote ene hina holo a ri file holo ya hina lomu hi vona a yi tsakisi mara matisa ku ri hi ta vote kona kwala holweni mara a mi ta cheka ku ri ku endleka yini mi rhumela vanhu ku ri va ta endla tindlela a ti endleki hi mhakeni ya ku ri a mi swi landzeleli hi kota ku vulavula kusilandelela hi swilandeleli anna marjo tala yima kona kwalano. Thank you.
Yeah, this one must submit a petition. Yes.
Dumela. Le guy. Nna ke nna Sam Masango ke tla ku Winterfeld wa 29. Chair and le baetapele ba le mo pele. La fela ke batlo itse fela ke tse pedi fela ke batlo itse accountability fela or e tla bjang because we've been writing some petitions even today. Are shibere ke re di respond. Ya mathomo ke batlo itse the differentiate between Tshwane Municipal Police and South African Police, especially in terms of the bylaws. Because Okarma Police are Metropolis, abaiti Merokwabon, Mapolisa are subs, especially on Utene Mapanyas, abaiti Merokwabon. We've been writing petitions to know exactly because Okarumulu might Meroko Haimo, Horsansa Overegabia. So Nerbato Cheka Hore, there's accountability, especially when we write such petitions. Secondly, our community Akomabupani, Winterfeld and Hamaskara, we've been writing several petitions, especially in terms of transport. Ka issue ya Northwest Bus Service. The best Northwest Honabiano, the operator mo Gauteng, but he subsidy it's why local Gauteng tshwantse ko Northwest. Dia yema o kere bo marna ba rekile di ticket ba sa itse re tshwantse ba khono nna 3 months di driver di sa gole, and those are part of our families. So ne re batlo itse gore go ba go nna le di groups tse di kwalang di petition in terms of gore subsidy ge ba rumela ko kae ene ke mang a counter mo because chelete e tswa le go Gauteng di bese di operator go Gauteng madi ya ko Northwest. So a le bona re batho ba go Northwest ba tlo e ja chelete because a ba itse mathata rena kwa Maskara ba na le problem ya di bese di andropo di khono yema le Winterfeld le Maupane di khono yema. So we appeal gore ho kwadiwa di petition di tsia sebaka se se kanang so that our people must know and understand because okare dia phaela someone somewhere o tshwantsane accountable wa relax. I thank you.
Dumelang sanbonan. Yeah, ki Jimmy Mtombeni man can I lady input or some amendments for this new bill and I quote this new bill. But I see them futile to raise my concerns or my inputs or amend some of the bills because I know you are saying you are coming with a proposal, but you all know that it's already an act. It's just to say, yes, we consulted this community, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And Kerata legislature slogan, Sabana, they say, your view, our vision, which is very great. And now, contrary to what you are doing, because what you are doing, the service delivery, the service delivery, there are no improvements, none whatsoever. Why I'm saying because as legislature says, your view, our vision. Luna, as the petitions committee, for drafting that bill, did you come to us now? Only now in your offices, you just said, no man, this community, we can decide 1, 2, 3. That community, 1, 2, 3. And third part, you are not living with us, but you can decide for us. That's very wrong. So what I want to ask, as you say, it's a proposal, and it's a bill, and it's an act. The three are contradicting each other. They can never be complicating one because where there's a proposal, there's a bill, yes. But where there's an act, it's a presentation. So you're making presentation, there's no bill, there's none whatsoever. So can you please explain the slogan, how you are running your house to say, you write, and then you come to us and say, we decided 1, 2, 3. You don't know our realities. Thank you.
Molweni, Honorable Chairperson, as well as your honorable members and your entourage. First, Chairperson, igama lami, I'm Sean Sisana, I come from the Institute of Public Oversight. The quickest, just a quick plea to you, Chairperson. The 2-minute rule is unfair. We have issues that we want to bring to the fore. We have patiently waited for your meeting to start, which was supposed to be 10 o'clock, but you started an hour later, so I'm sure you can also have some patience with us. Thank you, Honorable Chair. First, I just want to put through the issue, number one, issue of friendly relations, as you denote here in this bill. May we not be, or may it not be misconstrued to say that the relationship between the provincial government and the local government, or any other sphere of government for that, is only just friendly. So you guys are just making recommendations, and these ones can decide whether or not they want to implement or not. This issue of friendly relations is misleading, Chairperson, because there are recognized structures of IGR that ensure that whatever recommendations are stemming from the provincial government are enforceable within the provided legislation. So do not mislead us, these friendly relations, and then it makes it wishy-washy as if you are just friends. If you are friends, be friends there. But when it comes to the business of government, we need to be very, very serious. The second issue I'm noting here, we are removing here in section 2, section 2B of the proposal. We are removing public participation. We are removing here by the citizens of the province. Now, it opens it up. So this public participation can be, or anybody who is a citizen of the republic can therefore participate in this public participation, not just the citizens of the province. What is it that actually brought you to this determination that we are saying now, let's open up this participation to anyone who is a citizen of the republic, not just a citizen of the province? The third issue that I realize here, section 4, in terms of the petition, section 4D, the issue of a mass or a group petition, you are doing away with, but you are not providing any other provision to deal with such. What other provision is provided in terms of this proposal to deal with mass petition or group petitions that may have similar issues? But also the other one here, you're in 5.4, a petitioner must first exhaust internal remedies before approaching the legislature. And I'm sure, Honorable Chairperson, I'm sure you must have heard the previous speakers here alluding to that there were other petitions before. They may not have been directly to your office, but they may have been to other offices. But because of the failure of these other offices, it breeds this frustration. Now, when you say we must attempt to address the issues at source, when the sources themselves fail to address the issues, this then seeks to limit or to place a limitation, Honorable Chair and yourself, respectable advocate. It seems to place a limitation on the right of the public to petition. Remember, Section 17 gives us that right, and that right is unconditional. By the way, if it is in the Constitution, it therefore becomes sacrosanct. So you cannot attach a condition to that right. So that right must be upheld under any other circumstances. So we must and we will petition, regardless of whether issues have been dealt with at the source or not. Otherwise, let us go back and try to rectify this thing. The last one, I've read here, Uri, there will be no financial implications for the amendment of this bill. Well, Honorable Chair, everything has financial implications. You will have to rewrite this thing. For those that are already in the libraries and all other public spaces, you will have to change. Those are financial implications. The very exercise that you are conducting here has financial implications. You've hired service providers for all these things. Those are financial implications. So may we not be misled to say that there is not going to be any financial implications for this. I thank you.
Dumelang. Ka lebitso ke Selina Njaime ke tha wa 33 ko Soshanguve. Problem e leng gore dila le yona ko Soshanguve, we've been writing the petition, re di submitter ko RH, ko Acacia, ba re fa le di reference tsa teng, but still from today, our last petition was last year, ka February, ka di 6. And then Aresu Tusiwa, there's a cable that is running inside three houses. Yeah, and then they're telling us about the person who designed the block that we're staying in, hore ke fault ya high. But when we write a petition, Rabba hopela hore they must remove the cable that is running through those houses. Because sometimes when it's raining or when there's lightning, cable we are bust. Last on October, on 18, it was fuming, like it was burning, or you can see fire, like it's almost fast. So, rangwala the petition, but aresu kera too. So here ya ba re botsa hore, us as residents, because we are the one who re hopela hore ba remove those cables. We are supposed to pay for the removal of the cable. So I get to remove like our banka cable because but ba phela in danger. There's no way for cable e ka tsamaya jarateng ya motho o ne le bana ba dlalla mo ke kotsi.
Lingoletse Masipala.
Yes.
And Masipala has not assisted you.
Yes.
Go to the back, they assist you to write a petition to ourselves. Because this is very serious. Mbuli ari motho seng gore o tla etsa jwang. Perhaps let's also do an assessment and go check. Yeah.
Dumelang panel. Ke Deni wa Hamunyai. Ke tswa Ward 33. Another issue e ke tlo tlisang, I think it's everyone, ke financial based, yeah, the IDPs, of which re kono romela tsona di petition and everything, but he tshwantse ba responde ba botsa ka di financial issues or bona finances ha teng. And yet it's been almost 9 years to 10 years now. Re-apply, especially as a ward, kaofela, Ward 33 as a whole. He tlhahella taba tsa di IDP, Ward 33 it's not existent more the financial since the IDPs. So re batla re tlhaloganyo hore where do we send the petition in line with who understand hore who's supposed to pay for the services tsa rena for IDPs. You understand? Because agere IDPs ki di service ke funds tse lorong re tshwantse di patelle di services tsa the ward agere. So in that case, re batlo itse re romella man that petition ya hore ward ya rena it's been long due or resna di finances tse lorong hore he re batla service olo o botso re a kena tšhelete ya this. Ho batla service ya that ola are a kena service ya that, because of right now as we are sitting re na le a clinic e lorong hore re batla hore ba e hodise, but ho fitla o romela petition ba re a rena di funds tsa ho hodisa that clinic, and of which that clinic is crucial for older people ba lorong hore ba palla to move up from one section to another. You understand? So re ne re batlo itse hore from here where to re romela man petition, and petition e o ke a utlwa le bolela hore it must take 30 days. But we send petition by petition by petition by petition. It can take 10 years, re romela di petition. But no one will respond and say, no, petition ya lena re ikreile, re tla respond, petition ya lena no, re rometse mamang information hore atle ale attend. So ne re kopela assistance in that regard. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I do not mean to respond to these things, but I think it's important that we would not have Sibiti sa utlamona if we are not responding to petitions. It's important that you must know the committee at the legislature that it has been dealing with petitions. There is no petition that is even as old as a year. It depends on the issues of, we do respond. It could be that the issues are around departments, but I want us to be clear that if you have written to a municipality, meaning you have exhausted options, but there's also an input here that says we mustn't put conditions. But in the case of those that have submitted petitions with the municipality and they didn't find comfort, you can now write to ourselves. And what we have also adopted is to deal with all petitions received in one particular quarter, and we're able to then respond. So let's write to the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, not only because, for example, these ones have not responded, but also I have a proof that I had written and I did not get any response. And I am then now seeking a second, alternative to what I submitted. So it's important ukuthi masikhuluma ngama-petition esiwathumele masipala. Nazo ukuthi le committee ihlale before you, we may not even be privy to those, but mawizise ukuthi we are able to then, through COCTA, check umasipala ukuthi wenzani ngalama petition. Yangicela ukuthi siyibambe kanjalo, we will speak to you and advise you what is then the process like you have indicated.
Dumelang. Ka lebitso ke Esther Setshedi, ke tswa Ward 22 ko Block U Mabopane. So ke dumedisa tafola e otlhe. Re na le bothata ko Ward 22 ko Block U. Ha o tswa ka Matsipane o theohela ko tlase ke Ward 22 ya mme Mama Baso. Ke eme mo ke le mbewa ko Dikhetsi Street mo matlong. Dintlo tsa rona di senyehile. Mohotsi o tla le tlhalosetsa tse tsotlhe hore ba ile ko kae le ko kae. Till today re na le more than 40 years. Ngwana o ke mmelehileng ka 91 hona yena wa bereka mara ha ona skontiri. Skontiri se se leng teng ko Mabopane ke sa the former Ntate Mangope, may her soul rest in peace, because rena ha o tla nako ya di vote di batho ba lona ba le ba electang hore ba re recruite ba re latella mo di gate ba batla itse hore ba ba kae ka mo motseng, but when coming hore ba re fe do X, no, the paving da utsiwa, but government I receive ho tlile media go UX aksa o pala nelene ho dia ne ba memo festering ka lesia, but the office came the other day sa se ra hore la re shaetsa, so a re tsore ke lona ba ANC ho tlile kids. We have photos here le lena ha le ka bona le tla utlwa botlhoko, because nahana from 1986 o ena ho tso ha pula ena ka thutswile di desperate tsa rona di juvete di senyehile, because ne re try to thiba metsi ka tsona a re sana selo re khopela thuso mo lona, because ho a boleliwa ha ba fetsa ho bolela ba utlwa dilo tsa rona ba tsamaya ba sa tlo re fa report e mina yona ntshwe, so re botlhoko ra ho bala no pula ya maloba mo e sentse ho feta. Ke a leboha Ntate Mohotsi tla tlhalosa tse di feleletseng.
Afternoon, people, the advocate in the house and the people. Lena, kita kukai kumabupani. Kita kumabupani.
Libito mama, excuse, sorry, ko ba libito la mama.
I want to say something about my house. You go off the street, akiri okastwana, pa ma. Olina. Oh, kena kineilwe beti mwen. Kimbali kamadulo. Mara I'm in Mabopane kamwa kitile mo kanyalo. Mara seselenteng ke bone e le gore ga gona tirisano mo. Re tsamile meeting. I'm one of the chair ya di meetings, but ga gona se se diragalang. Di pleke ele ya rona ile ya bolaya ntateng ba reng ke pheko. Ya bolaya Ntate ba reng ke Makapane ka metsi a tlhagang ko skwaireng a grapa koloi ya hae. Ntate wa modimo e le bosigo furugo a re ya meberekong ra kreile gore Ntate o tlhokofetse ene Ntate pheko wa bobedi ke Ntate Makapane a wela mo mokoting ya re ha ba tsoga furugo ba re ba ya kae bari baya meberekong ba kreile gore Ntate o lo tlhokafetse, mara meeting e re tsamileng e botlhoko jaaka mme Setshedi a boletse ha re ka tla ko diu ke dikgetsi tse di beilweng gore ha batho ba pula e nele ba kgone go feta, mara ba kgone go feta because santa e tswang kwa e grepa ditaere tsa koloi. strata se ke nnang mo sone ke sa skontiri se se tlang motho o tlang o yang kwa motho go gaka go na le ntho e re e bitsang re re ke ba re ke storm water se blockile ka mmu di-storm water tse ba reng ba di tsentsha ga di bereke o tlase kwa e ka re o ya ko nageng ga o tlha o le ko morulasan o tla that other side e nngwe ya naga it's so hurting it's very hurting wa itse ke a le kopa bagaetsho meeting e re e tsamaileng ba tla re ipolelela fela ga gona sepe se se diragalang ga pula e nele re tshwanetse gore re tswe mo mantlong re ya go thusa kwa le bana ba rena of which bana ba rena ba godile re bua ka ditlogo le gone yanong o tshwanetse o felegetse ngwana sekolong ga pula e nele imagine mo lekeišeneng a township e re buang ka yone a go tshwanetse gore go ne le mmu ola nke le kgale now I wanna talk the truth gona yanong re na le meyara wa rona o re sa itseng gore o tlhophile ke mang o bidiwa Mama Catherine Mabaso ka 1918 to 20 a tsaya our budget a isa kae ko di-RDP. Does it make sense? Does it make sense for us? Atoga gape a ba re ke bokhutsong rona ra re re nna ko kae mo lekeišeneng but nothing works for us. We are botlhoko, we are hurting. Gona yanong re tsere by a surprise gore re tla mo gore bagaetsho le tlo gore thusa ra bona gore mo makeišene a lona a tlang ntse re nametse khumbi go gontle re bona eng ba re phala mara rona re nna ko lekeišeneng le le pila hampe ebile ba re bitsa bahumi mme re sokole taken by a surprise gore go na le meeting ko Surumane. I was doing my things gore ke ye somewhere but I ipotsa gore let me go and say something. Maybe those people, they will help us. Why is he king batho ba gaetsho ba modimo? Ke kopa fela gore le tleng ko mabopane le tlo bona tshokolo a botlhoko. Gona yanong mem Sitshedi o boletse ka skontiri. Later skontiri se le se thomile go diriwaneng. Hey! Skontiri se le se thomile go diriwaneng ka 2019.
You are left with 30 seconds now. We've given you over 2 minutes.
Mara, the house as it is, thank you.
Can I kindly request, I see the line continues, Ari Opimatsoho. The line is growing with noted people. You are the last one. I've been observing that the queue continues to long and with noted 10. So you are the last one.
Holo, le guy, zone 20, ke ka mo tlase ha 130. Ke la ka tsa o ka re le rona makhansela a rona a otlhe nkebe a le mo a tlo utlwa ditletlebo tsa rona bana ba bona because of re ba khetile ba mo ya 130 ko zone 4 ke nna pelo ya setšhaba sa tleliniki le community but ntho e ntshwenya re berekela mahala re tsamaya ka maoto a re je sepe re tlogela mabaka nna tleliniki ya rona ke khetilwe ka lebaka la gore ke a e rata ke na le balwetse ko jarateng le gona bjanong a me gobela ke na le patient ko jarateng but because of ke rata puso ya ko borona ke tlile mo gore ke tlo utlwa ditletlebo tsa bana ba ko borona tse le nna ke na le tsona ra safara re kopela re government ya ko borona re thuseng as clinic committee re tshwana le lona le rirela dikhate tsa ko governmenteng le rirela everything mara ka mo tlase re bola ke tlala gona bjano re bola ke di-services di nna di namella dirente tsa rona di a namella Re tshwenya ke crime baholo. Re tshwenya ke di-storage. I'm sorry ho buela mo tabeng ya diskontiri. Dikontiri tsa rona re tsamaya ka dikoloi di epegile. A di kgone go thibega. Re utlwa botlhoko baholo. Hona bjaanong kwa rona kwa difemeng kwa le tsa mabone. Ne khopela re government ka mokgwa le tlileng ka tjeko le tlo utlwa dillo tsa rona. Re utlweng. Assembly re utlweng. Re bana ba lona. Le khethile vote di-election le a tla le folwa go dimo le tla go tlase. La tla re tlo batla thuso gore ha o sana ntho e etsagalang. Re utlwa botlhoko ra tsenellwa. Ene ke sentse ke support ya ntatola o boletseng wa mathomo gore ke khopela gore ma-foreigners please a ba tsamayeng. Ka itse gore ba re bana ba mo hae re metlapa a re nya go bereka. But re learnile something. Re tlo bereka bana ba rona ba tlo bana ba rona ba swile ko dikolong. Ko tleliniking ya Phedisong for bona metlolo. Bana ba tla ko dikolong. Ba tlisiwa ba jele di-poison. Bana ba rona ba kry-a ditlhakerete ka mogare ga December. Ngwana wa 5 years wa grade 1 a kry-a disakerete o irang ka sakerete. Batho ba modimo ke kgopela gore government ya ko borona a rona le shawa sa ko borona. Ka leboga.
To submit or after submit or after submission, and when
Let me. My name is Moses of the community. Challenges. Rick spoke to him that the purpose of doing that, to have so many spoke to him that the purpose of doing that, to be councillors and divide out, we all you here to ask you to try this. I will also like to thank you very much. I will also like to thank you very much for coming to Hammanskraal. Maybe it's the first time in your life. We are sick and tired to see government going only to the places like Soweto, Katlehong, Alexander. Hammanskraal is also part of Gauteng province. We do not want to be recognized when it's an era for the election only. So we wish to thank you very much for that. And then on the clause number, function of committee number 6, I don't know whether this is an error of the typing or not, but it needs clarity. A committee within 4 weeks, in brackets, 30 days working days. I don't know whether maybe I'm the one who do not understand it, but if it's an error, please, may you please correct it. I don't want to be long. I said it monthly. I thank you.
Good day, everyone, and a good day, my chairperson and also the executive committee. My name is Obrimachila. I'm residing at Hammanskraal, Stenvater area, Ward 13, under the councillor of Sonia Mabolawa. I'm here. I've been very glad to hear that on the 22 you'll be here, so that I make sure that I avail myself here. Thank you. I'm staying in informal settlement called Begin Dabazako since 2017. We did continue to apply for service delivery. We did on 2022, we write a petition to our local municipality, Tshwane, as we know. Then they respond to us that the area we are right now is not belong to Gauteng. It's belong to Northwest Province. So we were very much surprised. Why? Because this is only, we moved from the RDP, it's only a road here. We jumped the road, then we said we are on that. And when we Google our map with our phone told us that we are on the Gauteng area. So we are very much confused right now. So this year, on the 2nd of September 2024, we write another petition to our municipality, the city of Tshwane. They respond the very same response as they responded in 2022. They said they cannot help us, they cannot formalize us because where we are is not their area. And then they also respond very clearly with their maps and then the ownership of that land. Annexure 2, Annexure B state clearly that the lands belong to Northwest Province, and there's a title deed number there to show us that the land belongs to Northwest. So my question is that, how are we going to suffer? Are we going to suffer for the rest of our life? Because where we are, from 2017, this is not a Gauteng, and we love Gauteng very much because we receive services, even now, one service that we sell. But other services like service deliveries, that is, we need, we can't get it. So I'm asking my chairperson here to intervene. I know that you can, they said, the speaker said you can interfere. But that one, I think you can intervene because it's province to province. We need help from you. The way you did when you took Harankua, you took Mabopani, you also took Temba to fall under Gauteng province. We believe on you that you can do that the very same. We are not only the one that we are struggling, that we are on the side of Northwest. In Hamaskral, we are struggling many, I don't know. I'm not speaking for only us because we were at Mbizo, at Sibutoma Hall on August, if I'm not mistaken, with City of Tshwane. We raised the very same issue. So now I'm very happy to meet you as a Gauteng legislature to help, to intervene on that matter. And then we believe that you're going to help us. And I trust and believe on you, the way you believe and trust on us. I thank you.
Greetings to the honorable diplomats and the entire house. My name is Presley Msibi. I'm from Ward 103, Etekangala in Region 7, Pretoria. In fact, our district is Tshwane North. The first matter that I would like to raise is that there's a petition that is on process on men's parliament, particularly here at Tshwane. There was supposed to be a men's parliament sitting on the 12th of November. That did not happen. We don't know why. But overall, that would then make one to believe that it has been ignored, however. Moving forward, Chairperson, I heard you saying that we are talking matters of petition and we are privileged that you came here. Yes, Chairperson, we will repeat the same thing because it has not been properly addressed. If it had been addressed, I don't think, as much as we are, the moment of ourselves, we would have been repeating the same thing. So it kindly, with due respect, Chairperson, we are not happy. Moving forward, as advocate has been explaining, that it seems like going back and forth is not assisting yourselves. But at the end of the day, we are being discouraged by the very same officials that we go and submit our petitions to. And moreover, I can raise much and much and much. I will end up being long. It will be like I'm creating my own speech, but it is a fact. It's what is happening. It's a constitutional fact is there. And lastly, that I would want to emphasize most. We have a serious problem at Ekangal of sewer, matters of street lights. I can name more and more. But why I'm stressing this issue? It is a gross issue that influences the uncontrollable crime that is taking place, plus the issue of drugs. So one cannot be silent with such a matter where we as the community members, we are fall prey due to such infrastructural neglect. So I'm not going to be long. I just raise what I think is very crucial and important. So that when you speak of accountability, it must be visible. It must not be just a beautiful sentence stated. Please, thank you.
Dumelang ba lekgotla ba haetso. Dumelang ba lekgotla ba gaetsho. Ke a leboga go le bona le nanogile le tlile ka kwano mo karolong ya rona ka fano. Mo molao o le ntse lo re bontsha ona o ke molao o montle o lo bayang o re itumelang ona mme go na le sengwe se ke sengongoregela mo go ona.
Daddy, askis hanyane re kopa lebitso la hao.
Ke a leboga leina la me ke mongongoregi se ke fetogile mongongoregi ga se leina la me gore ame petitioner mara ke tla bua di petition tse ke sa ba loetsa. Leina la me ke Henok Mogotsi ke tsamaya le bomme ba tlhang ko Dikgetsi Street ko Mabopane ko di-U ba ngwana a batlileng go kgamiwa mo mpetong wa lesea a kgangwa ke metsi a ile gore it was going to be a shame to our government e leng gore ka yona ga ise ke tle mo petitioneng mara le ngwa ya gore ke ka re o mputse gore ke mang ke re ame petitioner e le gore ka yona re biditse SABC ka nako ene Minister of Finance a announce budget ya high ra bontsha the whole South Africa ka Dikgetsi Street ngwana le seo tlo sola mo mpetong e le gore ke comfort ya go bona ka ntlha lack of services tse le re timang tsona puso ya rona for over 30 years ka ntlha gore re fetogile dinakedi tsa mo Afrika borwa rona ba ne re nna ko di-U mo karolong e bitso ya Bophuthatswana ko Mabopane dintlo tse re di agetswe ke re Mangope tseo le re fetogile dinakedi ga re di dire re sepe a ke pheke mo ke batlo tsena mo this bill ke yone ke tsena mo yona before ke tla mo dira bill e le dirileng ke entle on paper le ba dio tse dintle but there is one thing e leng gore I'm concerned there is no consequence management le mo this bill ke kopa le tsenyeng clause of consequence management le ba mafoko a mantle gona le batho pele mo officing mo lengwe gona le all these nice things that you preach you but when you get into the public offices there is not even something like that ba go level book ba gore bokoko ke that's what ke regina kedi our public services our public servants they are on the class of their own are elected people they stay aloof from us rona batho ba kgethileng ga ba re fe any services so se ke skopang from this legislature is the consequence management mo tlosong ya this gore e be teng e re fa motho a filwe something ka bona le beile time frame ya 30 days ya turn around re batla go itse gore yana ge public servant a gatakile dio a dirile a dereliction of duty a sa etsa se leng gore it's expected of them le dira eng about that from all these spheres of government ra le kopa this is a go repeater ba bantsi ba boletse ka yona ka itumella but ke boela morago bjano ko SK petition ke boela morago di ngongorego tsa rona we were in a meeting like this ko Morula San le re biditse ba botlhele ba tshwane re tlise di petition mo go lona a fear to modula selo rile ge di tla go national ko province tsa a year go le di resolve ke na le petition e ke dirile ko Morula San to date you have never addressed it and it's not only one petition ke more petitions tse re dirileng ne go le petition ya Odi Stadium go boletswe ka yona ga gona consequence ga gona result e tlela batho ba ko Mabopane re boletse ka petition tsa di-title deeds re na le more than 40 years re nna mo dintlong batsadi bokoko ba tlhokofetse ga ba na di-title deed but our children le ba fa di-title deeds ka di-RDP but their parents they don't have ownership of a piece of land and that is a serious matter e re na le yona ko Mabopane mo Mawiga Mabopane ga Rankuwa le Winterfeld re na le petition e nngwe re ntshitse gape ko Mburulasane ya City of Tshwane ya ritloa ga di-RDP gaufi le ko Odi prison sa tse re le mo there's nothing se se diragalang kwale and ga le ise le tle ko rona le tlo re bolela gore what is happening that's why ke ipitsa petition ke tla di-quota ke ditshwere petition tso tsotlhe tse I've been communicating le your officials here le bontate Senoto ke ba bolela tsona ke re how far are you got this petition how far are you got that petition so since le boleletse turnaround ya gore lona ko legislature is only for 1 year I expect good news from you after le enacted this act le yetsa mare le tsenyeng le consequence management gore a City of Tshwane e sa bone gore sotla yona re bone gore go diragala eng ka tse re di kopile go bana tsa di-service delivery I'm not going to repeat them se ke se bolelang ke gore gona bjang we are in a rainy season ge le ka tla ko di-u ba tlile ba lekgotlhe ba lona re ba bone bontate letswalo le ba ba ne ba tsamalene ba itse a problem ya ko di-u and ra go leboga go santse o le teng tate letswalo o itse sentlentle gore ko di-u go diragala eng ko Mabopane o itse sentlentle le ka di-stand tsa ne ba di-complaina ba matsa dikereke dio di ntse falafale le tshwere at hostage le government ke an entity e bitswang the so-called Northwest Housing Corporation e le gore it was winded up ka 2011 ge re lebela le mo di-records tsa National Parliament le Portfolio Committee ya Homes mara today e santse e claima gore e owner mafatshe a le gore it was there maabane but mafatshe a o tlhele a re a complainile ka ona mo di-petitioneng has been there dintlo tse bontata rona le bokoko ba nna mo tsona ko Mabopane ABC di agilwe ke government ya kgolagano ya GG before bo fita tsona ka ba teng to date bo mme le bokoko ga ba ne title tsa bona ba tshwere at hostage ke entity the so-called defunct Northwest Housing Corporation gore e ntse fela a consent letter gore department e fe bokoko their ownership of piece of land so my plea mo go lona mo ke gore as part of consequence management ke plead ke gore tsamalo lebela gore go dirafala eng ka department ya housing corporate ya housing ya mo Gauteng e ne etelwe ke ntate Maile pele se le re lebela di-title deed kana kwa hae le today ga di se di be teng tsa batho ba Mabopane di-u a ke no re Mawiga Mabopane Winterfeld Garankuwa including le Kudube Unity so in a nutshell tsene ke batlo lebala tsone ke gore ke go tlile go bolela gore in a year ko boela gape ko go fa di-reference tsa all those petitions and I'm happy because like in 4 weeks time tla be le boela mo go rona ke expect or in 4 weeks time bo go ba rona ko di utla ba na le title deeds tsa bona in 4 weeks time ngwana o tlile go kgangwa ke metsi ko di kgetsi street there will be something mo tlotlege premier makgatlo dira something about that gona be ano re motsosa a tloga ko a tla mo Mabopane a tlo re bona mara ba bolela fela ba tlogela batho ba tsama ba sa retse sepe our legislatures
dumelang go latelana ka tsona nna ntwe re tlololang ka yona mo ke ntwe ya Mabopane station e sa le ba re folosa Mabopane station ka 2008 ba re ka 2010 tla be re wetse ko godimo station o lebitso ke mme ka gore go tla batho ba ko ntle ko gore ke ntwe re bontšha gore di-officiale ga ba na nnete go tlhoka nnete ya di-officiale ko gore go dia gore le community next time ge ba 2010 re tla boelela ko godimo station ka 2013 go tla a big project Mabopane station go tla ya Tshwane le ya Braza isi so Braza ge re ya gona re boledišana le bona batho ba le ba tšhabatšhaba ko re ga se be bothata bo mo kae ka tabeng ya Braza bjale re be re kgopela gore nke le re kokotele mamati ka mo Braza ka mola nke ba tlo re botša gore ka gore ntho ke ya ntho ya kgale ya 2008 one bane ke 2024 so many years almost 16 to 17 years so re be re kgopela gore nke le re kokotele mamati ka mo Braza ka mola nke ba tle ba tlo re tlhalosetsa ka gore le gone bjano ba capturile batho a re itse ke bomang batho ba no ya kwa ba re ba representa barekisi dilo re no magala di itla di le mo re sa kweše gore go irehang go tle yona leadership ya ditso tse botse batho maaka ba re no beya di-company ka diteritiri batho ba beya di-company ka diteritiri but sa ba beya di-company ka diteritiri ba project e tlo ba ya fela batho ba sa itse di-company tsa bona di ile kae ye nngwe re nya go tlang ka yona ke ya ka mo Shwangube ka mo Khrisane ka mo ba irile le dibitsang tsa tsamaisa metsi tsona tseo tsa mo tseleng gore metsi a tlha site ya ka mo a ma tlha site ya ka mo ene ba skontiri ba mo le bridge ya tsena ka mo fase a tsena ka mo fase ka mo ke Khrisane a fitla betha mola le ka tla la bona dintlo tsa batho a di sa na di le re ke foundation a di sa na di foundation ka re metsi a le right through he pula ena a tla right through pula e tla metsi a le a tla ene khale re bolela ntho go tshwana ha ona action e irehang ba no tla ba romela batho ba le ba fitla ba lebella ba re a bua kwana ba ile so re khopela thuso from molena ka gore nako nngwe ke kwelele be ke fitile re le ka kwa ko Sgandaf ba re no he re la di-petition re se ka tlola tshwane re thome tshwane go wrong gore o re ko bona ra ba utlwelle o bo o re o ira dilo ko teng ka gore batho ba tshwane re sa di-petition no fitla e lebella ho tswa o e latlha ka mo daily boxeng be a le he re isitse ka mo ra isa kwa ebile nna tshwana ke sa isa ka gore khale since 2015 ntse ke ba ngwalla ana mo shingile ba nkaraba mo teng thank you.
Sanibonani. Ngegama nguzandile wakaHlatshwayo ngivele eWinterfeld eWard 9 ne. Okay, mina into engizoza ngayo ukuthi ngicela ukuthi nginiphe isuggestion ukuthi at least ama petition wethu akwazi ukuzwakala nani nikwazi ukuresponda. How about ama community hall njengalana nase Winterfeld icha beze bazohlala ema communityini bathathe ama petition wethu because indlela lesi sibhala ngayo ama petition siwayisa kumothwane nama masipala akusizi niyabona ukuthi siyahambisa but asibuyelwa imiphumelo nisho ukuthi kuzozana ama services endaweni zethu maybe kube nendlela lekuthi kuzo-communicate-iwe ne-community because yonke into iphiwa ama-councillor akhetha abantu bawo ukuze ukuthi kube yiwo abangena ama-project siyazi ukuthi kuyoza uzibani nozibani bayosebenza then after that banosebenza 2 minutes 3 minutes kuphelile but akubonakali lutho akunalutho etshintshayo mara ibudget yaphuma mara akunalutho etshintshayo namanje kusesenjalo ema-community akunanto etshintshayo that's why bengiceleni besicela futhi nangama-clinic wethu iklinikhi yethu kudala sibhala ipetition ngayo ikhaba uklinikhi ne-police station yethu ilwahle police station kudala sibhala ama-petitions but akunanto yenzakalayo bona mabacomplain eklinikini icomplain yabo bathi bona bancane abasi-enough and then ithini i-community yethu sibaningi so besicelile ukuthi okay sicela ukuthi kuncedakale ukuthi at least make-ediwe istaff or at least kuyenziwa ama-mobile clinics azozayo ame maybe ema-locationini ahlukahlukene ukuze ukuthi sikwazi ukuthola uncedo sifinyelele uncedo ngoba uyaya ekliniki uze ubuye ungabasibaningi izinto zincane ama-resources awekho enough i-police station isaya siyakhala silethe ikhalo akwenzakali lutho into esiyilemukile ukuthi most imoto zamaphoyisa zima nalapho sazi khona ukuthi kuhlala igebengu khona and bayama isikhathi eside baphume bashayikana izandla kube mnandi and then wena ulethile isikhalo ukuthi uthe umuntu wangapha uyangihlukumeza umuntu wangapha ungijontshele umuntu wangapha but the very same police esiyakubo yiba baya kulabo bantu bayenza ama-handshakes uyakhala uthi ngine-emergency bathi imoto amaphoyisa iphumile mara mothi uyabheka imoto amaphoyisa ikhona ekasi izihlalele nje next door kabras bani baziphuzela i-cold drink ba-right abanankinga and loyo muntu is the very same person lesikhala ngaye and they know very well ukuthi sikhala ngaye into lezi esikhale ngazo eWinterfeld that's why ngithi ngicela ukuthi ku-implementiwe ama-changes lawo and nokuthi mani receivile ama-petition ningasathi 30 days kuphela yes siyayemukela i-30 days because ngiyazwisisa ukuthi ziningi ikhalo ezizakini nidila ngezinto eziningi every time and again but at least yenzani ukuthi umuntu abone ukuthi i-petition leyo niyitholakele akube ne-communication ebuyayo back ebantwini kungabi ukuthi kuyathuleka ukuthi do, and then if maybe nisadinga isikhathi eside ukuthi nisekaseke nibheke, communicate nisho ukuthi okay I know ukuthi sinpromise ukuthi sizothi 30 days sizobuya, okay sidelay ayi 1 2 3 sisa investigate 1 2 3 sizobuya kini, kungabi ukuthi utututu thunya asitholi impendulo akusho lutho ngoba kugcina kuba ngathi aniyenzi lutho ekubeni nani niyasebenza. So into besicelayo le ukuthi sicela ama changes afana nalawo, and then manicedile into nikhombise ukuthi nicedile, masicela ukuthi ikhansela ayenzini ibani khona nisukume nibheke lawo makhansela because most yabo ba corrupt and akusasi into efihlekayo, ba corrupt to the very core. Sina ne problem ye dumping eWinterfeld, akunamuntu ongazi ukuthi iWinterfeld inama dumping corner to corner. Sicelile indaba yawo wathiwa kuzolethiwa ama-trucks azothatha izinto lezi ze-dumping bese house to house allocatelwe i-dustbin namaplastiki njengemizi yasemasosha nguven everywhere kuzoza abantu bemasipala once in a week bazocollecta ilo insithi iziletayo nitshintshe nendlela yakhona. And yes, indaba ye-accountability siyayicela umuntu maka-account makubeni uye osesikhundleni uye enimtrustile ngama-funds wesizwe uye so that kukwazi ukubonakala ukuthi kuba ne-change, ukuchange olube khona ukuthi kwenzakalani. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga Zanele, and siyabonga nabahlali abaningi aba raise questions, but those have submitted inputs in relation to umthetho lona. Kunzima kuba masiqhubeke ne-meeting xa ningxola bahlali. We are moving towards the end of the program, but we want to respond to some of the issues that have been raised here. And I will start with the advocate to speak to some of the issues that were raised around the amendment bill itself, some of the suggestions, but also some of the clarity seeking questions in relation to the 30 days and other issues that are raised. Then immediately after that, I will give Ndate Lienaki advocate, honorable member Litswalo, to also speak to some of the petitions that would have been responded to, but they are still ongoing, maybe they are open, and other questions that have been raised, particularly those around the area in Tshwane. And then immediately after that, we'll then give Member Mhlongo to do closing remarks, but also speak to some of the issues that have been raised in questions. But I think it's important that we must raise that there needs to be serious commitment, of councillors who are to undertake this process. Yokwazi ukuthi lo mthetho when it has come to pass, abantu baza kunihlupa futhi uba anisebenzi nizaba sengxakini. Because it can't be that we have municipal infrastructure issues and we have been entrusted by this community to be able to raise these things even before they raise them. So it's high time that we really take the work that we are doing as serious, and where there are challenges we are able to raise. But I want to indicate that there is the team from the city, the petitions unit from the city, and the director is outside together with Mbuli. For those that are also raising some of the issues, they are able to just make a follow-up. But want to encourage, we are not finding comfort to do right to ourselves as a committee. I know that there are some of the ongoing petitions, especially some of the petitions that were raised by yourself, Mama, that we are aware of, that are still open. And I think we must admit here that we have noted over time that we are receiving most of the petitions that are human settlement related, and I think 2 or 3 of the citizens that spoke here spoke about issues of title deeds and human settlement related issues. And I think we have called a meeting with the MEC, and we hope we are able to sit that meeting before the end of the quarter for them to give us account in terms of the process for those that are already in their houses on how they are going to get these particular title deeds. And for those that have not been allocated, what is the strategy really to allocate? So there is work that we're doing, but I think you are correct. We need to feedback because Aban Bagiti are getting impatient because we do not communicate. So I think we really need to prioritize feeding back, because when we are quiet, there is an assumption that there is no work done, and when we come back, people are frustrated. And I want to accept that you are raising some of these frustrations also from a weakness that we have maybe of not communicating back. And it's in these sessions where we really learn. Advocate Ntate Kiaobaka to just respond to the issues that have been raised. And I'm giving you 15 minutes, Advocate, to speak to the issues, but also clarify abahlali bakuthi bakwazi ubana babe ne-understanding. And now, member Litswalo, I know into banba uba nawo umqalo omde, but if you can also do 15 minutes, and then we'll also give you 15 minutes, member Muiponi, to then do the closing remarks. But we do truly appreciate all these inputs. Let's then give our people clarity. Kwenzela baba phume apha bene understanding. It's important that we must indicate uba ngumthetho wenu lona, and I like how you raised it, Butwam, that the petitioning is a right for all of us without being limited. You know, you don't have to on feedback. We really need to improve on feedback. There is so much work that we are doing, but I think we honestly need to be able to communicate some of the success stories and close some of these petitions and nathi siyindlu yowisomthetho. So let me give you a self-advocate to just respond to issues.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'll try to save time, but to the best of my ability. And if somehow you feel that I might not have, but I will try. I'll only concentrate or focus on questions that has to do with the bill. And the honorable members will deal with other issues. In responding to your question, I think I would like to start with the last speaker. Remember when I started and when I gave the background, I said, when you legislate, we don't just legislate for the sake of legislating or because you want to legislate. When you legislate because there's a reason for that. There's some jabs that you might have picked up in existing legislation. And this is exactly what we are doing. And the legislature is empowered and is mandated in terms of the Constitution to make laws. And also to recognize in the process of making laws that they engage with the communities like we are doing today. So in responding to your questions, the last speaker did emphasize the issue of reporting and responsiveness. It's a fact, and we accept and we agree. And hence, or that is why we are coming up with this bill. Because we have picked up or we've realized that there are challenges or gaps when coming to issues of responding on time. Hence, we are now coming to you with this bill. We agree with what the last speaker said. So we are trying to close those gaps. Now, when does the issue of 30 days, working days period kick in? Once we receive your petitions and it gets referred to the standing committee to deal with it, if it is submitted to the legislature, the 30 days immediately kicks in. And why 30 days? And why we now saying you must respond, you must annually and quarterly? It's because those institutions, they haven't been doing anything. And why we are saying if you can't respond, you must at least tell us, trying to close that gap. Now, the issue of maybe opening this up to everybody, I don't know whether is it Sean? Yes. You know, in responding to your question, I think maybe it's just an error. You might have missed it somewhere in the bill. That's where we refer, we change it so that it can flow. Instead of saying that, but to say, you remember when I introduced this bill, I focused on the background is to encourage the people, underline, the people of Gauteng to petition in line with what Section 17 empowers them to do. So if I've missed it or maybe put it in the other way around, But I know in our long title, it appears there. That is the intention or what this bill seeks to achieve. It makes reference to the people of Gauteng. Having said that, let me, we are not a federal state. And why I'm saying that, I'll want to refer you to our preamble. And I will read it. Our preamble says, we, the people of South Africa, recognizes the injustices of our past, honor those who suffered for justice and freedom in our land, respect those all who live in it. Underline that. South Africa belongs to all who lives it in. But still, I'm emphasizing the fact that it might be just an error. We make reference to the people of Gauteng. But I thought I must take you back in responding to your question as well, just to make more emphasis and refer to the preamble of our Constitution. Again, in responding to Sean there, we talk about Section 40. It's not us, it's not me. I just took it the way it is, but I think maybe it's a question of interpretation. And pardon me again, maybe the way we have put it is not in a correct manner, but remember that's why we are here. We are still going to work on it. It might have come out in a way that it maybe come out as if we are encouraging friendly relations without doing what the Constitution says the legislature must do, which is to hold the executive. Look at your Section 41 under cooperative governance. It says under sub H, faith and fostering friendly relations. It's not me. It's not me. It's Section 41 of the Constitution. And remember, it's very important to interpret things the way it's supposed to be interpreted. I said, remember in terms of Section 40, the Constitution recognizes the fact that these 3 spheres of government are independent. Now, it does not want to see a situation whereby now the municipality runs to court and say, look, you said we are independent, but here is the legislature trying now to bully us. Now, we are aware of the fact that municipalities are also receiving petitions. We are also aware of the fact of what the provisions of Section 40 and Section 41. Now, we are saying, in trying to bring them closer, so that we close this gap, because we can see there's a serious challenges at the municipalities. But we want to extend our hand and work with them, but also to try and make sure that we comply with the provisions of Section 40 and Section 41. We are not seen to be interfering with their functions. That's all that we are saying. I think, yeah, Ntate Daniel Mokoka, the issue of providing a feedback is there in that bill. That bill says that once we have dealt with that petition, you must prepare a detailed report and indicate, the answers. All the answers are there. And I said, I apologize, maybe they are not coming clear the way they're supposed to. But remember, that's why we are here, and we'll go and correct it and make sure. Because one of the requirements of the drafting style is to make sure you avoid confusion. You must be clear. When you pick up that act, people should not be confused. And I wouldn't want to see that. And thank you very much. So it means that we need to make sure that there's no confusion. When you read it, it must be clear. There should not be questions. Now, hence we are saying, we are proposing, once we have dealt with a petition, come with a report, a detailed report, take us through the steps. How did you deal with this petition for you to arrive at this decision? For an example, to say, no, we can't assist you, for an example. You might have written a report like that. But you must tell us so that we are able to see and be satisfied when a petitioner now comes to us and say, I'm not happy with the petition, but now we have a report to say, this is how we dealt with this, and this is our outcome. Now we need to check and say, okay, yes, you dealt with it to the best of your ability, or no, you did not. Yeah, I will pause there and I'll give it over to the honorable members. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Advocate. We are going to give over to Honorable Lutswalo to answer just a couple of questions. Tate Lutswalo.
Eba holo sammane le tswile. A kere ke Friday na go ngwe gore leno maro kwa letlela kere. Plus especially re le ka mara holo so. No ere ke leboe modula stulo wa nakwana. Mare ke batlo simolla pele go ntlheng ke tlhalose pharologano between ntho e le bitsang le re ke legislature le mafapha a golomente, because bangata ba lona le bua mo le re mametse sentle le ithale re ntho e re reng ke legislature tshwana fela le lefapha la golomente a di tshwane akere. Legislature ke parlamente bagolo, e tshwana fela le parlamente. Lebitso le legislature ka sekgowa ke ntho e re bitsang re ke synonym, mare ra gore parlamente provincial parliament akere. Ene ha le lebella molaotheo wa rona wa naga o re botsa gore ho na le ditheo tsa ntho e re bitsang re ke state di farologane di 3. Ho na le ntho e re bitsang re ke parlamente akere, ke yona e ya rona e, mare ya rona ke ya province. And then bo nna le ntho e re bitsang re ke executive. Executive letsatsi lengwe le lengwe the way re bitsang ka teng re ke government, rona re government akere. And then ko bokhutlong ho na le ntho e re bitsang re ke judiciary, ke ko dikhoto akere, mafelong a dikhoto and so on. So ha le tla mo provinceng re kry-a le gore re na le executive ko re ke government e eteletse pele ke ntate Panyaza Lesufi. Ebe ho nna le parlamente ya lona yona le bitsang legislature e eteletse pele ke speaker ba re ke mme Morakane Mosupi la mitsa kere o tswa mo Rangua mo zone 1, o tswa mo Rangua mo zone 1. So ho na re le pharologano between parlamente le mafapha a golomente. Ha o tla ka mo Tshwane ka mo Tshwane lona e na le government a yona, e na le mafapha, and ho na le boetapele ba bang ba bona ba tswa ona mo Surumane ka o mongwe wa bona ba re ke re Aaron Maluleke a ke re la mitse o tswa mo Surumane ke mo council gore ke MMC ya lefapha le lebaneng le tsa matlo, human settlement. And then ka mo tlasa bone, well ho kopana le bone ho na le ntho e re bitsang re ke municipal council. Ho na le di councilora tse tsotlhe tse tsa Tshwane. Tshwane ka re na le diwoto tse 107 a ke re la utlwa baholo. So ne ke batla re simolle ko gore re farologane gore rona re lefa a rane mafapha a le adopt a re fetso ya adopt re refera go lefapheng le loreng e lebane le yona. So if motho a re batla kliniki mo village ya rona re kwalla mme Nomantura Lehoko ke MEC ya lefapha la tsa maphelo wa kere ra mo kwalla, e be re mo fa 30 days or mme ra Lehoko re kopa gore within 30 days e be le re fane ka karabo re go na le kgonagalo a re le ka ga ba re ke kliniki ko na, and a so re 30 days go ra 30 days e tshwantse fela. Men o mantu a ka nna re within 2 days a re fa karabo, or within 5 days a re fa karabo, or within 10 days a re fa karabo, but the maximum amount of time e le gore mo na lona ke 30 days a ke re la utlwa bagolo. Re sa mmane re bua ka yona 30 days o ke gore ke batlo e simplify le tlhalwanyeng
Because good lady pots why 30 days. And nako nngwe tshwantse re botsane nnete bagolo kore a ra tshwanno tla mo ra kgabisa ra etsa gore lenane gore dilo tse dingwe di tla etsala within 30 days akere motho o mongwe o na le motho o mongwe wa kare nna ke nna ko New Year's Terrace dikolo tsa ko Year's Terrace di tletse akere re nana gore re batla sekolo se seng o bo re kwalla petition chairperson ya education ke portfolio committee ya education ke mme Moipone Mhlongo a le re kwalletse petition le rile re batla sekolo ko New Year's Terrace or ko dilope or ko marukolong or whatever e be re se ka se ka rena re le committee re romella lefapha bagolo nnete fela gore ho na le dilo tse dintse le reng la ile rona ne re ratile ro ka re no di ka itsuwa within 30 days it's impossible di ka se tsa le bjang akere dilo tse dintse di batla planning mafapha a planala se lo reng se tlisitswe a planela needs analysis akere and then ha planne so are e re ro batla tšhelete ro etsa boikopelo ko treasury ke lefapha le lo reng ke lona le le tshwere matlotlo akere a golomente ya rona ya treasury go nno thusana le lefapha leo lefapha le le gone gore okay e re tle ka lenaneo la gore motlhomong rahe sekolo ko so lefapha le na le mananeo wa lona la sheba gore a hona dikolo tse ding nna within a 5 kilometer radius ha ba kra ile rona le dikolo ba re ra ga se kgono a sekolo se akere or motlhomong a ile ra hona sekolo ba lebella ntho ba ibitsang ba re ke environment impact assessment or bofelo bo lo re mo identify le bo re ka ha sekolo mo teng sko akra ra ile sekolo mo plekeng e lo reng ena le metsi sekolo se be lo re sa wela akere or na go ngwe lefapha le gono tla le re a rena madi ona no e re emela gore budgetary cycle ya rona e fele re ikeletse boikopelo ya gore re thusane le setšhaba se gore re delivere dikolo tseo mara always bear in mind gore a le ditse boikopelo le mo community ya Amaskral or community nngwe le nngwe a se lona fela ba ile gore le batla ditshebeletso tse di tshwanaganang le tseo akere motlhomong ba bang ba go Vale le bona ba batla dikolo ba go Westland ba batla dikolo ba go Sidibe ba batla dikolo ba go Joburg ba batla dikolo golomente ba re ka budget nyane e nyenyane because taxpayers tsa rona ka mora province ya rona di dinyenyane akere so na go ngwe ke yona matsapa le reng golomente itemogela ona hao so motlhomong a re batla sepetlele Jubilee ke nyane ra Helen sepetlele ka mo Shanguve ka mo and MEC a ka nna tla ema mo lona re le rona ra agree lona re batla gore wa iwe sepetlele ko bothata kgolo gore di resources tseo di teng na gore project e o e deliveriwe ka nako a ke re la utlwa bagolo so even if act e bua ka 30 days nnete fela gore ho na le tse ding di petition tsa lona tse le di kenyang tse le reng it will be impossible gore delivery ya dilo tse le gore la di batla must be delivered within 30 days 30 days e bua fela ka response out 30 days e ra gore ha re fumane petition ya hao e le gore re kwalletse gore no rona ne re kopa gore ditsela di agiwe mo re kopa di street lights re kopa di storm water and so on e be re romella department or re romella municipality 30 days e ke a gore municipality within 30 days e tshwantse e re botsa gore e na le maikemisetso na kgotsa nnyaya ya gore tla thusana le setšhaba ka se e le gore ba se ntshitse ka mara di petition a ke re la utlwa it's not for delivery purposes so ke rile ne re simololle mo yona ntho gore le tlhaloganye ntho ya 30 days and then modulasetulo o mphile maikarabelo gore ke arabe to some of the questions alright re ke simololle ka ntate Daniel Koka o bua ka kgang nngwe ya tleliniki ya ko Ward 14 a e bua ka lebitso mare ke ya ko Ward 14 a ke re ntate Daniel Koka o kae Yeah, I get go hot voting. Yeah. Nze re buisana le mokhanselara wa lona ntate Tarara. And ntate Tarara ke rona re mmontshitseng yona le ka moana wa report gore ntho e ke ye teng. Kgangkgolo fela ntate Koka. Lefapha le ikeleditse boikemisetso gore no tshwantse re deliver clinic ko because it's a provincial clinic. I get ra kry le gore go na le makoanyanang a mang a le goreng a teng ka mara golomente a rona and ke batlo le tlhalosa yona go na le lefapha le re le bitsang le re ke gore e coordinate all infrastructure projects in our province, whether ke department ya health, whether ke department ya education, whether ke department ya social development. Ha ba batla bokagelo tshwantse ba ye go lefapha le. Now matsapa le nteng gore lefapha le tshwere morwalo wa mafapha otlhe a re no re batla dikago tsa rona gore ne di deliveriwe. So bokoa bona mo ntate Koka ro go na le system weaknesses in respect of a turnaround times for delivery. Mara ha re seka kganye because nna ke modulasetulo wa komite e shabaneng le tsa maphelo. Re shaba gore mare kgangkgolo ke eng gore re ba lo tsweletsa lenaneo la o delivera ditleliniki tse. Ra kry-a le gore e nngwe ya dikganye e tshwenyang ke a bontate ba e le goreng ha di-project di simolola ba ithoma ko di-projecteng ba tsena ka dithunya ko di-projecteng ba emisa di-project and then ba claima ntho nngwe ba re ke standing waiting time gore motho o pateliwa project e bileng tse sa etswa le selo and re di bona di-project tse di tseneletse in all areas. So ke one of the problems that will lead to the delays in the actualization or realization ya di-project tsa lona. Mare e ya ko hot 14 e mo councilor mo malobeng ene ke na le proof abe nna ke bereka ka proof aka ne re buisana le ena gore this thing ye re tlo bitsa MEC Mamabolo ke na mokhuduthamaga wa lona lefapha le DID gore mokhuduthamaga wa DID a re tlhalosetse gore matsapa ke eng re palela gore re deliver clinic when the Department of Health has already committed a budget. So Department of Health e committed a budget gore clinic eo ya giyo mare bokoa boko lefapheng le re le bitsang DID. So ke rile re fane ka yona karabo and ntate Maluleka le ena bua gore ko block P a rena ditleliniki a hona development general. Ntate Maluleka well ke sa itse gore seemo sa ko block P se yang a ke re Soshanguve le ona na le bo di PP2 PP1 block P di dingata ke mare ke itha gore ene modulasetulo ntlha e wa e bontsha gore tshimollogo ya ditshebeletso tsa golomente di simolola ka maragoto bagolo ore rona re le setšhaba re nano ga o ka agiwa tleliniki mo ga o ka agiwa sekolo mo ga o ka agiwa community hall akere and then there's a process e le goreng e saliwa morago ko municipality lona ya sekaseka gore re na le matlotlo na because every community every ward I'm sure ka di-IDP tsa bona mongwe le mongwe le ena re batla eng mara o ka lebelela matlotlo a teng a ke a le goreng ke a manyenyana again so process e ke yona ntato mo nna bua ka yona a re ke integrated development planning program again mo lo re la Kenya municipality ya advice or re na le bokgoni kgotsa a rena bokgoni bo or re na no re motlhomong ntho e re ka etsa ka nako e nngwe again ene ke a itse ga ngata le na le gore makhanselara a bereke ba le lwanela ko khansele mare nako nngwe a bana maatla le bona because he khanselara a rena tšhelete makhanselara a modimo a lona a gona ntho le gore maka etsa ntho nngwe le nngwe stands and falls by the availability of resources ha le ka sheba mo molaotheong wa rona ke section man ntate advocate section 36 utlwile ntato mo a re shaetsa o batlile a re shaetsa re all the rights are absolute. There's no such thing as an absolute right agolo a ra tshwanno misleadana akere section 36 ya rona constitution e bagolo e re government renders services subject to the availability of resources ntho e nngwe le nngwe mananeo a ditshebeletso tsa golomente a tswelletswa pele provided ka nako e rileng go na le matlotlo. Again, but that is not to say ha o sena matlotlo government abandons the people. It only means that government continuously plans and delivers. So the program of delivery of government is continuous. As far as clinic is a delivery, it will never be delivered. Other things that take more years to be delivered than others. So nikena no refane ka yona tlhaloso yo kontate Malule gore motlhomong a re sa le morao process ele ya gore re kenye bo di IDP because rona re le legislature a ke re mo nthong e re bitsang re ke pharologano ya dikarolo tsa di organ tsa state go na le ntho e re bitsang re ke sensibility le rona re le ba parliament a re kgone go no botsa ba lo re etsa mbjao we recommend again we advise because a re kgone tsena mo le reng bona ba na le boikarabelo mo teng so ke yona ntho e leng yao and then brasamile ena ba tlhaella ntate Masango ke ya ke TIA Northwest Transport Investment. It's what Hollands and Alamatzap. Gauteng government entered into a contract. Or Northwest Bus Services. If I nega over 586 buses. 586. It was an Elis Chavasaro. Again. And a contractor, I simula Nevonsala Garetlasin. Marmona gong ragrailo re in Alamatzapa. All of a sudden, the buses are going northwest at this art. But to buy a maskrali they affect. Ako bana linta te barigin tate sellola hari. Kana kwe sambanili emisia transport ko northwest. Base kasi kore sintle honali a contractual breach. Because batubaro na ko hamaskrali. Lema filo man they are being frustrated by this arrangement. Again, a mitigation plan or are mitigating. So where we are now is that there was a commitment to roll out the mitigation plan. But it would seem because of Matata di Chelet, tailoring NTI and alone, some of the problems they are unable to be resolved, which leads to Gauteng province having no other option but to consider. And we are carefully because now you go holumente. Again, the Kamara Parliament, which may leave the department with no option but to terminate, again, or to lodge a breach of a contract. And after that has happened, honali process in terms of that contract, honali an arbitration process that needs to be followed. Again, mare really tell re morao roko pa go make di boni dialor atlo fana ka tlhaloso to the stakeholders or contract all that we know there are those contractual challenges but we know the department has tried to engage their counterparts go northwest and then area go reole ne ke sa kra le visualize sentle wa mara go tlilo ka ra no tswa from a public accountability group or something Kena norre advocate mo le na se tsa fane ka tlhaloso akere ya re ntse ya hore re friendliness tswa go kae e be go utlwa ntata la tlhela bomo bo IGR wa bona nete fela go ra o lebella molaotheo wa rona o lebella bo di municipal systems municipal structures intergovernmental relations policy frameworks act gona le ntshong dilo tse itrise di dintshang ke di principle ere mafapha golomende and ai wi ka rona re le parliament ai wi ka rona go rona ya re ntsha go again ere mafapha golomende from national province local are interdependent again they are also distinct and they are also interrelated gore hona le kopanelo ya pono mo ditshebeletsong tsa golomende whether ke nationally whether ke province whether ke local government ke di cousin di nyalana di tsamaya again so ne ke re re tlhalose kganye and ntata ba botsisa ntho nngwe ka re advocate o lebeletsa gore mare why le public participation in the province nngwe le nngwe it's demarcated South Africa e na le 9 provinces akere 9 provinces e nngwe le nngwe ya di-province e filwe maatla gore e ka itlela ka melao ya yona so rona re le province ya rona ya Gauteng re itletse ka melao ya rona gore re kgone go thusana le setšhaba sa batho ba e le gore ba ka mara province ya rona a re national a ke rona a re national parliament so e tla nna boima gore re tla nna bokgosi thutobolo re ka se nne bokgosi thutobolo because there's also national parliament akere so rona re shebisisa mananeo a golomente in our province ha re ka thoma ra ro dila ka lo tsa go Limpopo batho ba go Limpopo ba lo la re sokela it means you are undermining our provincial parliament akere or ha re ka re ya go Northwest ba tlo re man le batla enyo ko lo rona re na le parliament ya rona ka mara bokoni bophiri akere la utlwa ba golo so that is why re limited ntho nngwe le nngwe na le limitation of applicability and that is why molao o re tlang ka ona wa di-petitions re public participation in the province of Gauteng because re ba tlo sheba dikgwetlho tsa lona le badudi ba province ya lona ka mo Gauteng and then ebe o na le potso gore why le ntšha ntho ya mass mare le sa tle ka ntho e le goreng e tlo e alternate re alternatile re group because ha re mass molao wa rona o re ha o kwala molao tshwantse o simplify gore o nne le di-terminology tse e le goreng they are the most simple for ordinary members of our communities to understand and that is why re substitutile a re sa re mass because ha re mass motho o mo ga e busa gore mare mass ke so re rile group re simplify fela senyesemane a ke re la utlwa bagolo so ke yona the most simple explanation eo and then mo ke dumelanang le wena ntate ke sa itseng gore maikemisetso a ntlhaele ke more in financial implications ka nnete there will be nominal financial implications in organizing public engagements and so on but not in the actual writing of the legislation a ke re ke rona setheo sa rona ke sona se se kwalang melao so ntate every month setheo se sa mo patela so rona o kwala fela molao a re kope mang gore a tlo re kwalela ona a ke re financial implications will only be in the coordination of these public engagements and that is where I agree with you ke ba tlo pusha ka speed man because modula setulo tla ngoma Meselina go 33 remotlile a ro submitile di-petition maro ka re o di submitile go tshwana ke re di batla maybe re kry di-copy so that re mo thuso gore a kgone go resubmita ko rona ko provinceng re kgone go bitsa city of tshwane gore why cable e o ileng e ba palela fela ko tlo e lokisa a ke re ba kopane le Eskom because a ke re dilo tsa motlakase mo tshwana a rena city power o tshwana le ko Joburg so eo e batla Eskom so wena o re kwalletse re bitsa tshwano re bua le Eskom gore ba tlo lokisa di-cable tse di mare nnete fela gore nako nngwe di-cable di a lokisiwa bagolo ebe re alawa dinwe gore ebe re alawa ditsotsi in our communities gore ba connecte izinyoka kere ba collapsa di-cable tse in our own communities nako nngwe le rona re le setšhaba tshwanetse re bue nnete nako gore we are also complacent ka nako tse di rileng because re letlelela batho ba connecte illegally mo dijarateng tsa rona di-cable be di iwa di lematsa bana ke re la hopola mo malobeng mole bana nkile ba tlhokofala ko Shanguve la hopola ke re e le gore ba e bitsang ntho high mast batho ba connectile ko ene be wela bana ba tlhokofala bana ba le 5 so nako nngwe le rona re le community re skallela fela mo pusong e le gore a re di-organize tshwanetse re arameleng ka matsogo ka maoto re thusaneng le golomente ya rona gore tse ding tse dilo tse di etsalang ka mora di-community tsa rona re di fedise a ke re la utlwa bagolo mare ke nano gore re advise mme Maselina gore a re kwalle re kgone go salasalana le bothata bo mo morago ntate Denny ele ya di-IDP o ka re ke arabile akere ne setse ke tlhalositse gore mare a re ikatumetse mo di-counselara ha e le gore e bontsha makoa bagolo la e report le reporta ko speaker gore nna mokhanselara a rona a re mmone IDP tsa re itse gore di tsamayang akere ke yona lenaneo le tshwanetse le saliwe morago bradeni kore a o re ne re tla kae le na le mokhanselara ke CEO ya diwoto tsa lona ke managera ya diwoto tse le nnang mo tsona akere la utlwa bagolo and then ya e re ke address issue ya bontate mogotsi ntate mogotsi ke ntate mogotsi kganye ya hawe ka nnete fela o no e tsentshitse o itlisitse mo rona akere ene ra e tsela matsapa akere nako ngwe tshwanetse re bue nnete mo setšhabeng ra re kry-a ntate mogotsi le mama kutlwile pelo e le botlhoko ra e tsela matsapa re le komiti ra re a re yeng ko lefelong leo ko kgetsi e be re ya ka nnete ko kgetsi re sa e fela e le rona re le one ra tsaya City of Tshwane ka nkane ra ba lata mo le City of Tshwane le di-regional directors tsa teng ntate mogotsi ra tla le bona ko ra re ke bo bothata mo ra iponela gore di-strata tsa block U a di na ditsela kore a re tlhaloganye gore why di sena ditsela akere City of Tshwane be fana ka tlhaloso mo tlhalosong ya bona e be re identify gore ka nnete ditsela tse ke di-municipal roads a se tsa province ke tsa municipality therefore meaning that the municipality must intervene mara se felele moo ra ikeletsa boikopelo le ko province gore province motlhomong o thusanang le City of Tshwane mara mo nakong eo City of Tshwane e be le gore hei e re bona ba tla bona gore ba e bereka yang kgannye there was no willingness to cooperate akere re sa itseng gore mo nakong ya ona no seemo se eme yang e be process o project simolola ba re phase 1 re sala morago ntate mogotsi ba re contractor ya appointilwe wa nna le di-project steering committee akere wa nna le site establishment re setse morago gannye e le rona re le petitions committee re tsamaya le bontate Chabalala re shaeno re tsamaya le bontate Chabalala e be re bona project re simolotse le rona dipelo tsa rona di a nonofala gore ka nnete go na le progress e re e bonang akere mare mo le mo pelenyana ra kry-a report nngwe gape gore project ele e eme yanong go tsene borre Nakedi ke utlwile o ba bitsa borra Nakedi gore ba tsene borra Jase ba thibile project wa lwewa ka mo projecteng ele and ra re investigate ra kry-a le gore ba bang ba badudi le bona ba nkga lefotane ba ba tlo tsenela mo projecteng akere ra boela ko City of Tshwane gore bothata bole re bolla bjang because ba banne ba lla ka re no contractor e di-rates ha patele di-subcontractor eng City of Tshwane be re ra terminate ka nnete ra utlwa or ra kry-a report e ba re no re terminatile re tlo appointa a newer contract so ntate mogotsi mo re leng mo teng because of ditlhopho tse di nnileng teng tshwanetse re boele ko City of Tshwane re kry the recent report gore ba tsweletse pele yang ka lenaneo la o lokisa bothata bole ba ditsela ko block U a se ko Kgetsi street fela ke block U as a whole akere so ne re modulasetulo re record re boele ko City of Tshwane ba re fe the recent or latest report with regards to the status sa ditsela tsa ko block U and le rona re sympathizer le batho badudi ba ko block U gore it can be gore over so many years block U sambane e le gore ha ena ditsela akere and a se block U fela la o ka ya ko bo di block D ha o ka ya ko garangwa ko bo zone 1 zone 2 le ona mo Hammanskraal mo sambane o na le mathata a di tsela le ko bo Shoshanguve in other areas akere so le ko bo Brongon Spruit akere tshwane pharapare. So tshwantse re lebelele mafelo a e le goreng a na le matsapa a ona kgang e ya ditsela. Ona kone.
O setse ka 3 minutes now.
Yeah. Erike go mme Khomotso wa go hot date go Rangu. Mo councilor ke mme Violet akere. Traditional health practitioners. Hona le ditheo mme Khomotso, Traditional Health Practitioners Council. E go officing ya Remotswaledi. Yona e teletse pele ke re ba re ke Bruce Mbetsi. Akere. A ile re le batla support. Re tla le sharela di number tsa ntate Fatuane. Mara ke ntate Fatuane Bruce Mbetsi. Akere. And then kanye ya di clinics committees tse di sa patelweng. Mokhuduthamaga wa rona wa tsa maphelo o rile mo rona re buisana le yena because re nna ka mora ona komiti a re ei re tshwanetse re shebe kgannye re thuseng le komiti ya tsa maphelo re bueng le premier re bueng le mokhuduthamaga wa tsa matlotlo MEC wa treasury gore motlhomong re shebisise kgannye gore re bone gore di-clinics committees tsa rona di ka se fiwenyana sengwenyana na di tshwane le di-hospital board akere mara ke ba tloetsa commitment mo e tshwanetse etse ke MEC e nne ena a tlo fanang ka tlhaloso re mo supportile ra re dumelana le wena mara obviously there must be a process, there must be a policy that is developed to look into this issue. So girile lona re tlhalose as such again. And then ntate Morgan go feleletsa ka yena banong wa go Marukulu ntate Morgan Marukulong a ena di councilor tse 3 ena le councilor 1 ba re ke re Michael Gunga. So anisa Gunga kana ke ma Ndlovu akere. He's the only council. Mare Marukulong ena le di overlap into Ward 49, ena le overlap into Ward 74. And Ward 49 ena le mo councilor wa yona. Ward 74 ena le mo councilor wa yona. Akere. And issue ya clinic e re tla seka ke tsore clinic e lo reng le gaufinyana lona e how far from the center of Marukulu. Mar molao wa rona o re ha ona le clinic within a 5-kilometer radius e lo reng can be accessed. There's no need to raya clinic eng. E tshwana kana fela le kganye ya education ya dikolo akere. Ha ona le sekolo within a 5-kilometer radius o ka sa ise next door unless e lo re ke primary or high school. Only when that is the situation. Again, so re recordile e batla fela re isa le morago akere ntate Morgan. And then ai o ka re ke feditse ma ntate mayor wa go Mabopane station ke nya go fa khangi ke itse ka Manontlontle Mabopane station prasa investile 1.4 billion 1.4 billion. And of that 1.4 billion, already 700 million report ya bona iseng rona. Ere no e setse e tsweletswe pele in building a number of a substation. Again, which amounted to 255. And it's not only just in Mabopane. Again, to the rail in the network. So they must connect the different networks. And then, yeah, I think about 14 substations. And then 163 kilometers. Overhead traction equipment has been purchased. Again. And the amount there is 383. And then 38 million of that amount has been spent towards refurbishing Mabopane station. Again, with an extension of 100 million towards an additional 23 substations. So there's a full report there, which is downloadable. Again. And then get on the hands over Holo. Tabo Odi Stadium, that day Mohot. MEC, sports, arts, culture, recreation. Urile irrelevant market Swan. Swan irila ena matlot. Swan. Again. And then issue the title deed was one that then they were involved. Honali di puisano between two different departments. It's Human Settlement Northwest, Housing Corporation, Gauteng, Human Settlement. Again. So bagolo ke tsona dikgang tseo ya men's parliament a ke itse modula sedula mosho wa itse.
Sing parlamente. This come papatela mona le tla kopana le ena ka ntle le gone o di qoqa hantle. Thank you so much the honorable Letswalo for those responses. I gave him some of the more time because he's the former chair of this committee, and some of the issues that we're raising were issues that would have been in the previous administration. And I think it was clear, and you were clear to answer some of these questions. We're going to move now towards the end of our program, and I'm going to give member Mhlongo to do a vote of thanks.
Ngiyabonga sihlalo ngaphambili. Njengoba ubaba uLitswalo abene hour lakhe, nami sengiqalela manje. Ngiyadlala abantu abadala. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi izinto eziningi seziphenduliwe and kuthiwe mhlawumbe mina ngize ngaphambili ngizonibonga. Now bantu abadala ngaphambi kokuthi ngene kubongeni ngibuya ngibe usihlalo wekomiti eliphethe ezemfundo la eGauteng njengoba bekasho ubaba uLitswalo. Ngalokho ke ubaba okhulumile eqaleni uraise into eyi1 ngabantu abaphuma ngaphandle. Wathi sinenkinga enkulu esibhekene nayo siyizwe. Ikakhulukazi siyiGauteng, I think ama cases eingane zethu eziyeza shona manengi ukudlula ama case akwezinye indawo. Now why ngiraise lento kini bantu abadala? Kuyingoba siyikomiti siye sathatha isinqumo esokuthi ezikoleni zethu abomama abathengisayo laba babizwa ngamavenda nabantu bama tuck shop sicela ukuthi bamiswe kancane ukuze sicubungulule ukuthi inkinga yethu kahle kahle iqhamuka kuphi, ngoba ukudla abakuthengisayo kwesinye isikhathi asikwazi ukuthi bakuthenga kuphi noma bakuthenga kubo bona labantu abaphuma ngaphandle noma bakuthenga kuphi yini. Ngiyazi ukuthi kwabanye abantu angeke izifike ihlale kahle ngoba omama nabo indlela yabo yokuthi baziphilise ukuthi bayothengisa kulezo izikole lezo. And singabantu noma siyikomiti le-education asicindezeli abantu bethu abamnyama ababantu besifazana abazama ukuziphilisa ngalendlela. Kepha siphinde sabanombono futhi ku-department ukuthi no, abantu abahambe bayobhalisa njengoba kuthiwa ipaza shop mazibhalise nabo mama bethu abathengisa ezikoleni sithi sicela bahambe bayobhalisa futhi kabusha ukuze kuzoba ne-database yokuthi esikoleni esiso kuthengisa umama oso, esikoleni esiso kuthengisa umama oso, ukuze sizozama ukugwema mhlawumbe eyezinye zeinkinga esibhekana nayo ngenxa yalento yama-tuck shop. Okunye futhi engikuthandayo ukuthi umongameli wethu wezwe udeclare lento njengento eyi-state of emergency, okusho ukuthi uhulumeni wethu uyoyifakela amehlo ngokusheshsha. Siphinde sibonge futhi uMEC obhekelele ezehambe ayoregister kabusha nayo futhi iDepartment yeHealth iyasiza ngama-inspections alawo ma-tuck shop lawo, ngoba angeke sivume ukuthi izwe lethu life libulawa abantu bokuhamba, abantu bethu bebehleli bekhona la eSouth Africa. Now ngalokho sizoba sine engagement ebizwa nge-stakeholder engagement kule viki elizayo ngolesihlanu izoba ise-University of Johannesburg with the Department ye-Education nama-stakeholders aku-education okubhekelele ukuthi sikhusela kanjani ingane zethu uma zize ezikoleni, ngoba akulunganga ukuthi uthuma umntanakho ukuthi ayothola imfundo kodwa umntanakho abuye ngebhokisi endlini. Akusinto esiyifunayo leyo. Now bazali bami sengizoya kumsebenzi mhlawumbe engithunyelwe ukuthi ngiwenze. Ngithanda ukubonga kunamakhosi la ngaphakathi kwethu nabantu ababizwa ngama-traditional leaders. Esikhathini esiningi uma senza lo msebenzi esiwenzayo wama-bills bebevela endaweni ezihlukahlukene. So siyabonga ukusixhasa kwenu baba ngaso sonke isikhathi. Siphinde futhi sibonge ama-member e-legislature ahlezi la ngaphambili ngomsebenzi abawenzile. Sibonge futhi nabantu abasizile ukuthi sihlanganise yonke lento le yenzakalayo namhlanje
Ngoba ukuba bebangekho besingeke sikhona ukuthi sizihlanganise lezi zinto lezi, which is the staff in the legislature. But okukhulu esithanda ukukubonga yinina njengomphakathi wala eTshwane. Nabantu basekuruleni abakwazile ukuthi basuke kuruleni bezelana. Ngoba ngaphandle kwenu, ngaphandle kokusibekezelela kwenu, ngaphandle kokusilalela kwenu, ngaphandle kokuthi nisiguide, ngabe asikho lana siwuhulumeni noma siyiphalamende lase-Gauteng province. Ngokusho kanjalo bazali bami, sinokudla mhlawumbe ilunch is going to be served lani khona. Sicela ukuthi ningasukumi la nihlezi khona, bazonilethela ukudla kwenu ukuthi nibe nokubambisa nje okuzoyethunjini kancane. Ngokusho kanjalo sibonge kakhulu isikhathi senu, ningadinwa nangomso nenze njalo. Sibonge kakhulu.
Sizahlangana naye phandle bazali bam simqhwabele. And in manage we are guided by the rules of the house, and because we've declared this particular venue the president of the legislature, then we are expected to do that. Mandibulele kakhulu sihlalo we portfolio committee on education, who's also a member here, and just to echo your words as well, ndibulela abahlali, ubukhosi, civil society organizations, abantu bonke abaphumileyo bazo contributor into ukwenza lo mthetho. Lo ke ngumthetho wenu, wakhiwe nini. Xa uthe wapasa lo mthetho iya kuba ngumthetho wenu oza kunikhulula niwusebenzise to liberate yourselves apho nibonayo into yokuba iinkonzo zikarhulumente azifiki kuni. So you have undertaken a process yento yobana namhla singawu-implementi ngale ndlela niwuchaze ngayo, nitsha yiyo le nto thina sasiyicontributile. We had contributed into ezawukwazi usisebenzela, particularly on i-feedback nexesha le-petitions. So it's important into yobana masitsho that municipalities, when this has come to pass, they are expected to align right away. Asifuna uphinda sibuye sive ngomasipala mhlawumbe ongekho responsive to some of the petitions that are submitted. We're going to request into yobana banezi handsets bezinizinikwe, niphakamise izandla kaphinde zizolandwa kwezi ndawo nikuzo, sikwazi unika abantu bazo back. So ndiyanibulela kakhulu, and ndabe ndisenza injustice if ndinganibuleli the support staff of the legislature and the entire administration. I know this has been a very stretchy exercise. We have crisscrossed the province, and this team made sure that in very difficult situations, we sit these hearings to get the inputs zabantu bakuthi. So siyabulela nangomso, nanku ke umthetho wenu niwusebenzise. I now declare the sitting of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature officially closed. Siyabulela. Ningandiqhabela ngondigqibile. Acela uba ningasuki kwezi ndawo nikuzo kwenzela uba singaconfuse indlela abazawukwazi ukuni distributela amanzi ngayo nento esiwa esuswini. Masiphakamiseni izandla ke for i-handsets sikwazi unika utata lona nabanye abantu abazayo abazothatha i-handsets.
Must show that they've tried to exhaust the available remedial measures before coming to the legislature. Also, it provides for accountability by your executive, because like I've mentioned, one of the mandate of the legislature is to play an oversight and to hold the executive accountable, to make sure that if there was any petition referred to any department, for an example, human settlement department, for an example, we as the legislature or petitions standing committee, we will expect the relevant department to provide the petitions committee with the process they followed in reaching their decision. They are expected to provide the committee with a full report of how they processed that petition and how they arrived at their decision. So this bill, that is one of the objectives, to make sure that the senior officials are sent so that they are able to take decisions right there and there. That is one of the objectives of the committee as well. And also to regulate the provincial government, especially when with regard to your oversight role. So this bill is also seeking to regulate the provincial government oversight role as well. And that will also be covered in the amendment bill. Yeah, thank you very much. Now we are currently dealing with the amendment of Gauteng Petitions Act 5 of 2002, which we have decided to amend because we have picked up some